I don't think I can show my face. Like I don't have the settings to do so.
You don't
like
have.
It's blocking me.
Wait, you don't have a camera audio or what? Just to check.
No. Okay. What I want to explain is I do have a camera, but in this exact voice channel, I do not have the permissions to put the camera on because it tells me I cannot stream in this in this voice chat, so I'm unable to do the webcam.
Okay, I think I'm able to do it. Let me see. Crap, there is a setting that allows you. Wait, let me just check because my settings. Let me just check my server settings for this one. 1 sec.
No problem.
Okay, server settings. Sorry, this is the first time I actually fixed up the member, so let me just get this done first.
It's okay.
Yeah, under member, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Shit, there should be settings. Oh crap. Oh my god, I'm a bit nervous right now. Yeah, permissions. Let me see.
Stay cool, man. Stay cool.
Wednesday. Attach file. Message send to connect, speak, video. Wait, I am able to put you on video. That's the problem. I allow you to share video. Wait, let me see. Start video. Allow me share video. Screen share. Screen speak connect. That's odd.
Yeah, video should be the setting for me actually.
Yeah, under member, right? Correct.
Yes, under member.
Right. You can actually go to the channel settings.
Okay.
The voice setting to set the specific person to be able to that one.
Oh, how am I supposed to do that? Can you tell me? Just to check.
Okay. Let me
right click on him and then what else?
Okay. First, right click on the voice channel. It'll allow you to go to the voice channel settings.
Wait, I don't understand. Sorry. Can you just tell me again?
Okay.
Under edit channel, is it?
Yes, edit channel.
Okay, and then
voice channel.
Okay.
You should be able to see permissions.
Okay, and then
you can add the person itself into that.
Oh, add the person itself. So add members or role, right? Okay.
Yeah, add members or roles.
Okay.
And you can edit the settings over there.
So if I add him
over there.
Wait, let me see.
Okay, wait. Where's my
bro, can you wait, let me just I think I know why already.
Why?
Wait, okay. Can you try again, bro?
Right, I don't have the things enabled on my side. I have nothing.
Wait, not able to wait because I under channel setting I already allow the edit channel permissions. Okay. And then I allow video already actually.
Okay, so videos enable.
Yeah.
Can you try to screen share actually your screen? So I can see maybe the settings and guess what?
Okay, sure. Let me just send you 1 sec. Okay.
Okay, you can share screen, I thought.
Oh yeah, true.
I'll be helping out with the technical difficulties over here.
Okay, so under under channel settings, edit channel. Do you see
channel permissions?
Yes.
Okay. Click on the.
Yeah, this is the guy.
So the thing is you enable for everyone, and I think you have to go for the specific user. So hi, I'm Disturbia instead.
Yeah, here.
Okay, yeah, enable video here.
Save changes. You
try. I do think if you go back everyone because it was enable, I do think that members, for example, if you check members, it's not like checked. Yeah, normal.
Yeah, video.
That was why.
Okay, could you try turning on your camera now, sir?
Alright, we good.
Okay, thank you so much, bro. Okay, what you need to do is you'll be moderating our answers from the Twitch chat itself because it'll be a 2-person view and I'll just be enabling and just let me know whether if there's any questions or anything because there are some portion I'm able to see from the chat. Alright.
Alright.
Okay, bro. Okay, thanks. Let me just.
I'll be leaving the call now.
Yeah, thanks. Alright. Okay, let's see who has turned up here. Okay. Welcome, Jeb. Thanks for coming. No, I'm actually not Japanese. Okay, so let me just switch to the main one. Okay. Alright. Hey, that's on. Let me see. The Discord. Oh crap. Wait. Done. Eh? Oh, I now can't see the face. Wait, 1 minute.
No problem.
Okay, give me a sec. Let's see. Source. Discord. Done. Let me just, sorry, give me a minute.
No problem.
I really adjust in such a manner that it will actually fit all the way to the back, that's why. Give me a minute, It's on. Sync. Okay, let me just. Yeah, perfect. All right. Are you able to say anything, bro? Can I try saying something?
Hello.
Yes, it's clear. It's clear. All right. Okay, people. Thanks for dropping by. All right. So sorry for the late start. We are just here on a very simple podcast. Okay. Okay. Just need to give a brief introduction. Okay, welcome to my podcast where we actually chat on any topic under the sun. But for this current topic, for those that is actually looking in the channel right now, we're actually talking about Duel Links. Alright, so allow me to introduce myself. My name is Albert. Welcome to my podcast. And much appreciated for the follow. If there's any, and do join the server for more fun and games. So for today's podcast, we'll be talking about two things before we introduce our guest for today. Okay, first we'll be discussing about the mobile PC game known as Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links, based on the perspective of our guest for today and his opinions on his on the gameplay about it. There'll be talks relating to the skills, that's the first thing, card effects, and the Konami's effort on it. And for those who didn't know much about Duel Links, is actually based on an actual card game known as Yu-Gi-Oh, established in 1996. So Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links is actually available on Steam, Android, and on iOS. And this game has been around since 2017. So this is considered its 5th anniversary. Wait, not 5th. 5th anniversary. Yes, that's 5th, right, bro? If I remember,
yeah, 5th anniversary.
See, already my math is a bit off. Okay, and it's one of the highest downloaded immersive card game. I'm so sorry. So this is kind of thing that we'll be discussing along the way. And next we'll be talking about the streaming platform. As you can see up on the icon above in the stream, we have the DLteamwars logo. Yeah, apparently this is one of the examples of a streaming community. For those who don't know what is DLteamwars, I'm just going to do a shout out for it here. Okay, so it's actually a casting community established in 2017, and they basically host team tournaments for Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links twice a year, and we're 32 teams, each consisting of 5 players, and they'll be actually competing for top 3 spot in the competition. The game is now on its 10th season. For more information, please check out at DLteamwars at their Twitter website, or go to DLteamwars on Twitch. Alright, so let's move on. We go on with the session. For today, we have a fellow caster from the Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links community. He's known figure among the Yu-Gi-Oh casting community. His name is Disturbia, so I just can call him Disturbia for short. So bro, how are you today?
Well, I'm doing very good, fantastic. What about you?
Okay, is it possible to give a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sounds good. So I'm a French student so far, so I'm 22 years old, and I've been actually streaming for a year and a half, and concerning the Duel Links side of things, as well, a year and a half, and I began casting around that time pretty much for a year, and I've joined the DLteamwars community around May 2020, and since then I've been commenting a lot of wars from any kind of league.
I see. So based on what he had mentioned, because I actually know you for quite a while, because we are in the same committee. I presume that you actually played the actual Yu-Gi-Oh card game even before actually doing the Duel Links, I presume?
Yes, I've actually played the game for fun only, but I got to know the game while I was at primary school, so like 12, 13 years ago. And at that moment, I actually got really interested into Yu-Gi-Oh because there was another game that a lot of children liked, which is Pokemon. And the thing is, instead of playing the game, it was mostly about trading. But when I saw Yu-Gi-Oh, I was like, yes, we do trade cards, but what's also interesting is that with bad cards, you can still make decks. And at that moment, I started to enjoy the game, also due to a lot of rules in the game. And
I see.
that's at this moment that I enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh.
So that means it feels like your experience with Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links itself is actually pretty fun, right? In a sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if that's the case, like...
Yeah.
Okay. And then if that's the case, like, would you actually, right, introduce the Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links to someone who actually never touched the game before?
Honestly, yes. Because I did have well, first of all, since I'm a caster, I do have some friends that actually got into the game because of me, because they enjoyed listening to the casting and just discovering the kind of community we are within Duel Links and the kind of competitiveness we have. And I think it's awesome to see that from my friends just being able to touch the game or at least discovering it. And as a game itself, for those that want to discover Yu-Gi-Oh in itself, I do think it's a good game to go before going to the real TCG. Just because we do have like less cards and the rules are a bit easier. And then maybe they can go with the real TCG, which is, having different rules and all that. But it's a good introductory.
I see. So, because I understand you have mentioned that you actually like there's tutorials and all this. So, if that is the case, if let's say because you do know that sometimes there's a complicated steps between like for example the main phase, attack phase, standby phase. So, in terms of let's say for example, let's say I have an example to show you. Let me just put it up onto the screen right now. Just give me a minute. Okay. I'm not sure how many of you all actually know this card. Okay, because if there's anyone in the audience like maybe Jeb, okay, I mean. Who knows this card? Come on, say something about it. Anyone? Jeb? Anyone? Okay, so it seems alright. So actually, this is a card known as Forbidden Lens. Alright, so it's a card that actually make a monster lose 800 attack and defense, but it's unaffected by spells. So in a sense, we all know that okay, in terms of battle phase, there's those complicated steps. For example, okay, certain cards can activate upon attack. Some can be declared before the damage step. Like example, Forbidden Lens is one of the most versatile cards in the game itself because it can even be used before the damage step. So any cards that like say upon attack declaration like mirror like the drowning mirror force, or like say upon battle step enemy controller, Forbidden Lens is one of the most versatile cards in the game. So would you agree that like let's say because when we're playing the Duel Links itself, there's a certain hourglass that indicates like at which time you respond. So experienced player, okay, usually when upon attack declaration, if there's an hourglass on opponent's side, that it's definitely something that will be activated upon attack. Or maybe close the damage that you see an hourglass with something that'll be it's like you know in a sense because the app function triggers you to do so, and this loop was used by many players. Like they actually you do know like when we have our what do you call this? Our Duel Links meta, they actually have a list or what kind of card, that everyone refers to. I mean, you do that too, right? Technically, sometimes. Yeah. So, in a sense, with this mechanic, do you think it is vital for any players to actually dive in this specific knowledge first, or wait till they are comfortable with the game before they actually dive into it?
I think one essence that makes people enjoy games is to understand the general mechanics and see by themselves it actually is good for them, or that they do like this kind of rules and the mechanics. So I do think there's no need to rush into a lot of like the specific rulings, but they can do it after. Like there's enough time for players to, for example, take time to build the decks properly, and at that point, when they have like good arsenal, they can indeed go in depth within the competitive scene and actually try to understand all these rules, such as the different steps during a battle phase, or even the hourglass, which is something that I do think a lot of people still forget nowadays. And
but
hourglass is also something that really helps out because you can see if, for example, your opponent does have a card to activate or not, for example.
I see, because I really noticed that a lot of experienced players actually, I mean, I'm sure you also use it, right? This kind of this abuse, because it's something that we some experienced actually take advantage. Anyway, so like in terms of how Duel Links actually came about from the beginning, when it first came out, right? Like as you know, when it first came out, it was the gems that they provided wasn't really that optimal. Only at the recent times, because of more packs coming out, then our dear Konami actually keeps spamming all the gems. So even the newer players can actually do very well because they ask, which booster should I pick, or what deck should I play, or do I need to buy just 3 structure decks and get it done? So in this case, like what kind of deck would you actually recommend so that at least if like say the new player would join in, right, they will still retain the meta, and let's say after a few months the meta won't die out. At least they can have that form of competitiveness with it when they actually like play the game itself. Like what deck or what set would you recommend them to try it out and give the game a start? What set?
I mean, for new players, one thing that is good is that they do get some nice resources to actually build decks. And for example, if we mention the UR Dream tickets or SR Dream tickets, it's something very viable for them because they can search any card or any staple card, which means that can be used in any deck from any box. So, for example, they could focus all their gems into one specific box to get the core cards and have a certain deck list, and then with the tickets they can try to get some different kind of cards to actually boost up the meta deck or rogue deck or whatever they want to actually boost it up. Now, I think I'm gonna go with multiple perspectives. So the first one is going to be if the new player wants to pay already in the game or not. So if he wants to pay in, it's going to be tough because the ban list is coming up. But I do think he can still try to go for Harpy because it is a very viable deck against so many matchups. It is a very, very solid deck. I do think eventually doing Harpies is not going to be penalizing. Like, even if there's a ban list that hits it, I do think Harpy is going to remain relevant. Just that you need maybe some switches. I think the deck is going to remain strong. But for those not, I think the best thing to do is go prepare some decks that will not and surely not be hit by the ban list. For example, they could go with Trimid, which still remains like one of the cheapest decks to build. A very solid deck as well with a lot of mechanics. And the main purpose is that it's cheap. You don't need like many staple cards, and basically you can already play the game by having such deck.
I really agree in a sense for your speech because their fuse spells pretty incredible. They keep swapping at their fuse spells, then they have their massive power. So, I mean, you met a few. How was your match against that? Do you actually struggle, or is there there's a balance with like you do win some, do you lose some against Trimids? Do you actually win or lose some? In a sense?
On my side, I only think that you get to, well, let's say if I'm the Trimid player is, having some few bad matchups, for example, Harpy and Gaia, which are two decks that get to be able to easily destroy field spells or many spells, traps, or whatever. Like, they're destructive kind of decks. And Trimid does have a struggle for that, but other than that, the deck just, goes through all kinds of decks. So for new players that, let's say, want to hit King of Games, it's already a viable deck. For competitive, a bit less, but they still have a chance. But I do think they still need like to have other decks rather than Trimid. But Trimid is like overall good if you want to get some progress through the next months.
Then, if that's the case, you mentioned about the Dream tickets and SR tickets that have been given. Let's say, what would you tell? Let's say this new player want to, let's imagine that maybe he let's say in a perspective of build Trimids. Then, some of the UR cards, UR list won't actually be used in it. So, what would be the list of staple cards, or that you would strongly encourage this player to unlock so that to optimize their deck? In a sense, what are the list of potential staple cards that you introduce to them?
Well, for Trimid, it's normally short because there's already a lot of cards from the Trimid archetype, which allows you to build the deck. So, staple-wise, you don't need so much, but you can search, for example, Fiendish Chain with the Your Dream ticket, which still remains one of the best cards in the game because you negate the effect of a monster and it cannot attack, which is very solid in such kind of meta. Always a good card. And another card to search, which is always nice, is going to be Treacherous Trap Hole, because it's an SR Dream. Well, you can search it with the SR Dream ticket, and it's the fact that you can destroy up to 2 monsters on the field in an easy way, as long as you don't have any traps in the graveyard.
I see. Okay,
those are like the main priority.
These are some very good recommendations from you, alright? Alright, let's move on to the next section of our little conversation. Okay, you do know that we have a list of skills. Okay, let me just bring up the list of skills right here. Okay, these are examples. Are you able to see from here or not really?
I'm able to see, yes.
As in, okay. Anyway, I'll just read out some of the skills. Okay, these are some of the skills that is kind of restrictive to most people. Like, say, some skills can be used a certain number of turns. Like, some skills can be used a number of times per duel. Like, example, Destiny Jaw, you only can use it once per duel. And some is you need a certain life points or below in order to use it. Like, level tuning, you need 2000 or below. Ojama Overflow, you need 500 and below. And the next one could be when your skills is decreased by a certain amount. Like, Destiny Jaw must decrease by 2000. Then there'll be some where used on X number of turn onwards. So Ojama Overflow will be on the 5th turn, Ultimate Dragon will be on 3rd turn. Then there's one more which is skills that do not activate unless you have a certain condition or card in your deck or in your extra deck. Examples include balance, where you have 6 copies of each card in your deck, or demon resonance, where you need to have a certain number of fiend monsters and resonator monsters in your deck, or shooting star rope, where you have a certain number of junk monsters in your deck. And the last two are the most restrictive one, which is for balance, is exclusively for balance so far, based on what I find so far, is you cannot special summon or activate monster effect until the main phase of your first turn, while the second will be on dual standby, which is cannot normal summon or activate card effects based on your first card effects on your first turn. So these sets of skills that was there, in your opinion, which one, just choose one first, which one is actually the most restrictive, or in a sense hinders the most play in terms of when you're trying to begin a duel, in your opinion?
I think it's pretty obvious that it's the cannot normal summon or activate card effects on your first turn, because one thing to know about Yu-Gi-Oh is you want to play monsters, and of course along with spells and traps, let's say, because you want to defend yourself. So the fact that on your first turn you cannot normal summon is a heavy kind of hit, and even more when you have to think that the meta we have nowadays is very fast. We have so many decks that can do OTK in an easy way, that can clear the back row, for example. Like, easy examples, if we take the current meta, will be Harpy, which can do OTK. You also have Destiny Hero, which can do the same, and Melodious. And other decks which can do, for example, OTK could be Dragoonity or even Blackwing, for example. So, like, having a skill that restricts you from normal summoning anything, it's very, very bad. Now, you do have maybe some alternatives to special summon already, so I guess it's somehow fine, depending on the deck, but I still think for most of the decks, it's very restrictive.
But if memory serves correctly, the reason why this last piece of skill is there is because of this guy. Wait, let me just pull this guy out of the picture one sec. Okay.
Sounds good.
It's because of this guy. I mean, I think you know which one I'm referring to. I just need to show to the whoever that's watching. It's because of this guy, right? I mean, if this guy wasn't there in the first, I don't know what is Konami thinking. If let's say they have never put this guy in there, in Duel Links, in the very first place, would you think, do they even bother adding that restriction to dual standby? I mean, in a sense, because of this card, this is the monkey that causes the problem. Like, would you recommend, let's say, Konami to remove this thing away? Let's say, would you recommend? I mean, this is one of the core cards that actually cause. I mean, we will be discussing this later in a later game, but would you agree this card causes the most problem? Like, if you remove this card, could most of the problems be solved, technically? If, like, say, Konami decide to straight outright ban this card, would they actually solve the entire problem? In a sense.
Honestly, no, because I do think at some point you also need cards that do allow to disrupt the opponent, and at the time there was some annoying meta. Amano Iwato was like able to stop that kind of meta. Like, even back when you had, for example, Resonators recently, some players did play Amano Iwato as an alternative to block certain decks, and that allowed actually Resonators to take some wins. So
I see.
As even if the card is like very restrictive while it's on the field because it negates monster effects, the real the real issue with the card is, like, if you have a skill that tells you that the monster actually stays on the field instead of going back to the hand, I think that's the real annoying thing, because there were some skills that say, for example, you summon the monster, but this monster does not have the effects activated until the end phase. But what that means is, because it's a spirit, he's not going to go back into your hand because of that restriction. And I think that's the only real annoying thing, but as a card, it's not that much.
So, technically, do you think that it is sort of a misplan by Konami when they didn't realize, they didn't realize that Imano actually mixed well with dual standby? Or, of course, there'll be another skill we're discussing later. Like, do you think it was a misplan by Konami in this sense? They didn't realize that it could be abused in such a manner?
I do think, yes, they ended up realizing that it was abused of that manner, because, as you mentioned, dual standby was actually having decks that can abuse of Amano Iwato, and that kind of deck, which was called Amano Star, was tier 3 for some reason as well. I don't really know if that was a misplan from Konami. I'm just going to guess that they didn't really realize that it could actually be a hydrant, so
I see.
Maybe, I guess limiting the card will have been fine, but I think they will have hated the card a long time ago. Right now, it doesn't make sense.
I see. So this is like what we call in a sense, it's not a severe mistake that we should be condemning, but at least they try to solve the problem around it, right? Technically.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, then in that case, let's proceed to the next part, because you mentioned about the worst skill. Let's say if we were to give you a combination of skill, let's say, because most skills have two dual restrictions. So okay, you can actually agree that cannot normal summon or activate card effects on the first duel is actually one of the skills that is very, this case is for the Amato's effect. So in that case, what combinations would actually be the most disastrous for any player within a skill? In a sense, let's say two skills combined, like which one would be the most disastrous in a sense?
Ooh. That's quite a question. I'd say maybe with the kind of meta we have, because now I'm thinking that normal summoning is of course a big restriction, but like special summon is also another one. We'll actually say that having a skill that doesn't allow you to special summon on your first turn, and is there another combination interesting?
Because I'm just in a sense, I know there's most troublesome of course, but in terms of combination, of course we have to see how, because in terms of this kind of list of skills, it's only based on what we can see, because we don't know what would the deck play. So it's just like a general opinion, like which two skills would be the most, like in your sense. Yeah,
I was just trying to read again. So after thinking, I do think like if you combine both the restriction on special summon and normal summon,
but that would
be enough to actually disrupt a lot of players, because you basically cannot summon anything. You can not even activate cards or effects.
That skill will be some super strong skill that has to actually ban you from doing this kind of situation. Of course, we wouldn't really see that skills, because in this kind of late game, I don't think Konami will actually make mistakes again, right, technically. Because, I presume they do make research, right? They do check on the players list, right, technically. They do have time to do marketing, right? Am I right in the sense that? Do they actually have time to actually research through?
I think so, yeah.
I see. Alright, so, okay, because, we'll be talking about skills, and so let's refer to the most. Let's go to the elephant in this room. Alright, okay, I'm sure, okay, I don't know whether you can see that, okay, like, a certain skill that is unlocked when Zane reach level 13, right? The Cyberstar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cyberstar has one of the most amazing history among all players for how it evolved from a simple skill such as can be used each time a life points decrease at 3000 and below. Then you play one Proto Cyber Dragon from outside of deck for every 1000 life points below 4000. This skill can only be used once per duel. Because if I remember at that time, right, Cybernetic Overflow was not introduced yet, because it was introduced on the 12th July of 20... Oh, let me just see the date. Let me just check. 12th of July 2019, right? So, because at the time I was playing a bit here and there, because I also just started Duel Links. Like, what causes from the restriction on the first restriction from playing one Proto Cyber Dragon for every 1000 below 4000, and it actually evolved to, let me just adjust. Actually evolved to the part where, let me give me a minute. It's on. Yeah, it actually evolved to a point where it become playing. It become where your life points is at 2000 and below. 3000 and below. Sorry, my bad. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Let me just check something first. Yes, it actually evolved to the part where it's 2000 and below. Then you actually play 2 Proto Cyber Dragon in attack position, like 1000 and below, play 3 Proto Cyber Dragon, then you cannot be tributed, and they cannot, when they're face on field, they cannot special summon, you cannot actually attack with future summon. Like, what was the timeline that escalate to that point? Because I know the first one is Cybernetic Overflow hasn't come. Then the second one is below 3000. Then afterwards is below 2000. Below 3000 is you still can attack with other monsters. But after that, below 2000, you can't attack anything other than fusion monsters. Like, at the time, we still have the restrictions on Cybernetic Overflow being semi-limited on the 21st of July 2020. And then furthermore, there's a further hit on the Cybernetic Fusion support on the 10th of May 2021. Then there's a Cyberload Fusion that's semi-limited on the 13th of August 2021. There's a lot of hits, like really a lot of hits. And it comes to the point that the list was so absurd to the point that the final amendment is you play a Cyber Dragon from your deck or hand with 0 attack, and with the same restrictions and even more, where you only get summon Cyber and Dragon and you can't even fusion summon anything else until the end of opponent's turn. Like, there is that flow of time. Like, before that, is it because even before the booster was introduced, what actually happened before that? Let's say the first booster where the Cyber Twin is actually not there yet. Like, what causes the first change? Like, because at that time I only know some people abuse the tribute mechanics, or what else was tribute other than that one for the first change?
Yeah, the first time that there was a hit of the skill, that was because we didn't really have a lot of cards from the Cyber Dragon archetype. Like, you had Zane Truesdale being released, getting some few cards from it, but there weren't really cards that you can obtain it from boxes or events that makes the deck good. So some people, when they saw the box with UA and Merlmite in it, the first time they saw the box, they all went playing UA with the Cyber Style skill, and the only reason was pretty simple. It allows you to get, when you reduce yourself by, let's say, just 1,000 life points and you remain with 3,000, you get the Cyber Proto on the field. So you can tribute it and start playing UA, and you have all the mechanic. And at that point, Konami very fast decided to touch the skill and say that actually is going to be specific for Cyber Dragons, so any other deck cannot abuse of such skill to do like very simple tribute summons, which I do think was eventually a good hit, because otherwise I don't want to imagine how many decks will be abusing of that kind of skill.
So that means at the point in time, the second amendment of the skill, where it's the same life points where it's 3,000 below, but they actually changed to cannot be tribute for materials except for future summoning. So at the time, it was slightly, I think it's about a year after the Cybernetic Overflow came out. So at the time, you said UA was abused first. So afterwards, is it because there's additional monsters used for attacking, which is why they actually restrict it to just being able to you only being able to attack with fusion monsters? Just to check. Because first is that one, because the time flow is first is fusion summoning can be used other than fusion summoning, but every other monsters can attack. Then afterwards is you only can attack with fusion monsters, and the life points was from 3,000 to 2,000, right? That's the amendment, right? So what was the behavior of the players at the time between the first, the second, and the third amendment at that point of time?
That actually is pretty simple to understand. It's just because of the kind of support that Cyber Dragon received, especially with the 23th main box. You got cards that allow the deck to be played quicker and also stronger, because it allows you to make a lot of fusions in a fast way, and having a destructive powers, especially for spells and traps, but also having, for example, Cybernetic Overflow, which is the trap that allows you to tribute Cyber Dragons from the field, graveyard, or even your hand to destroy cards on the field. Like, there's so much destruction power for Cyber Dragon that at that point they also had to make a restriction where only fusion monsters can attack the turn this happens, and also having these costs where it's 2,000 life points or below instead of 3,000, because the deck, can be played very fast. You did have at the time a lot of people still playing Cosmic Cyclone, which is still one of the best banker removal cards in this game. You reduce your life points by 1,000, but it allows you to banish a spell trap on the field. Not only that, but it also allows you to activate the skill in an easy way, so they had to reduce the condition for that. Although then we're later going to see that cybernetic fusion support is going to be allowing the player to go for a very simple fusion.
So it is because of the change in the skill which kinds of alter the player's behavior. They, instead of using the Cosmic Cyclone, they actually swap to cybernetic fusion support to efficiently summon minimum 2 of the Proto Cyber Dragon. Is that the reason on their behavioral change? Because before that, the first change, the cybernetic fusion support was not touched yet. Is when on the second change where they put to 2,000, then they actually hit the fusion support. That's the result of the behavior, right? They actually swap their decks a bit, right?
Well, not really. That's just like both cards, cybernetic fusion support and cosmic cyclones, were actually on the same deck. Like, both of the cards were played because what players wanted with Cyber Dragon was to win fast. It's a deck that is made to play fast. Even in the real game of Yu-Gi-Oh TCG, the deck is supposed to play fast. So eventually, that's the kind of build that they decided to go by combining these two cards that then allows them to go for very strong one-turn kills and, get a very easy skill to then be able to go for the fusion summon. So they have to play both cards in the deck. And that combination is what really made the skill to be hit again.
Alright, I see. Okay, then let's talk about the final amendment. I mean, I find the final amendment a little bit, in a sense, too nerfed for my taste. I mean, I don't know whether you would agree with me. I mean, the restriction is the same on the 2000 life points, but instead of a Proto Cyber Dragon, they say that means your deck must put 3 Cyber Dragons for the skill to be used to its maximum potential, provided none of the Cyber Dragons actually in the graveyard, or else you'll summon actually only 2 or 1. And they even give a restriction that you only can special summon Cyber End Dragon until the end of opponent's next. So this means you can't even use I remember there's a Threat Fusion, the one where you banish fusion monsters for your graveyard and special summon the set fusion monsters. Wait, let me recall, what's the name of the fusion card again?
That's normally Future Vision or Future Fusion.
No,
that's
not
the
Future
card
Vision.
that allows you to do
No, there's a trap card where you banish materials from your graveyard and you special summon.
Oh, you mean Necrofusion maybe?
Yeah, that means they can't even Necrofusion because they had to wait until the end of opponent's next turn, right? So it actually slowed them by 1 more turn, right? Technically, they can't actually use Necrofusion as well, right? So in this case, because I don't know whether would you agree that they actually over nerf it. I mean, they could have kept the Cyber Dragon as Proto Cyber Dragon and keep the rest of the restrictions, right? Like, in your opinion, would the monster name Cyber Dragon, okay, being put as Cyber Dragon or put as the same original Proto Cyber Dragon from outside the deck, would the amendment make any difference if they were to just, don't put? I mean, the skill is already very badly nerfed. You can't even fusion summon anything. Like do you think they over nerf it by putting Cyber Dragon instead of the same original text of Proto Cyber Dragon from outside the deck? In your opinion?
The thing is, the over nerf is you cannot really not understand the reason, because it still is one of the most abused decks since actually many years. Even if the deck wasn't forcefully a meta on the competitive scene or in general, it is a deck that so many players have seen on PvP, so in the ladder, while trying to get, let's say, King of Games. But even in the KC Cup, it is still one of the most ridiculous decks that has been brought in Duel Links and has been very powerful. So such big restriction is understandable, because that means that there's no way for them to play Cyber Dragon. But I do think that the system of completely destroying skills is bad for the game, because there's already generic skills being touched, like Balance, Restart, for example, and even Dual Standby, for example, which instead of being used as general skill with no really big bonus, they just end up being completely destroyed, because they decide to tell the player, well, you cannot really activate effects of the turn you use the skill, or you cannot summon certain cards, etc. It's something that feels very bad for a skill, because the best will be maybe restricted in a fair way. But if the deck with the skill is actually very strong, you can maybe just ban the skill, make the players unable to use the skill in the ladder, but at least allow them in some dual rooms if you use the unlimited regulation.
I see.
And that would be actually more healthy for the game, because when players, let's say, want to play a tractor and they're fan of Cyber Dragon, maybe they do want to play the skill, but such restriction is ridiculous and makes the deck unplayable, or just, bad simply.
So, in your sense, it will be just right or just comfortable for the game paces if, let's say, they just do away the Cyber Dragon, they just retain it as Proto Cyber Dragon for outside. It will be, in your sense, it will be still okay, because they have already restricted the fusion summoning, right? In your own opinion?
Yeah.
Okay.
They already did restrict that.
Yeah, I can tell, because the monster, I mean, you have to squeeze 3 more extra Cyber Dragons, and that's really gonna take up a lot of your deck's the synergy, I guess, because the 3 cards could be put for some other more competitive cards, right? Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so let's talk about some skills that were not actually used as intended in a sense. All right. Okay, so the first one we have here is actually the Smile World. Okay, I'm sure you have watched some of the videos on the Duel Links meta or etc. or most of the videos where they actually abuse the Yuya. Is his name Yuya? Yeah, Yuya. His name's Yuya. Actually,
Yes, Yuya.
Yeah, correct. They say that, okay, because some of the players actually commented on each of the comments. They said, oh, okay, I can add the Smile World, but I can choose not to activate it. I can just slap the Imato and hit my opponent on the face. So, in the sense, do you think that I mean, it has the same history as Duel Standby, but this one is more less severe because number one, Duel Standby enables you to have a higher chance of drawing the card you need, while Smile World just gives you adding a card from outside. That do you think that Smile World should be nerfed in order to ensure that it's not abused like how Imano abused Duel Standby, in your opinion?
I don't really find the skill worth to be nerfed completely. Well, you kind of did like change the skill, and instead of like saying that you can only activate the effect of Smile Word the turn you use the skill, to let's say not abuse the Amano Iwata, but yet again that's going to be a skill that is too specific for what Amano Iwata is. And I do think, well, yes, you can change and say that you add the Smile Word and just put no restrictions, which will be enough for such skill because it's very simple. It's nothing much. So, if I remember correctly, Smile Word is a card that allows you to upgrade the attack and defense, right? For the monsters
correct.
in the field.
That's correct. So you just felt that they could just remove the activation restriction and the whole it'll be simpler. The Imano will still able to activate its effect, and you actually won't break the deck itself. Because Smile is just a minor card giving you a minor attack boost. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. The thing is that yet again, if we relate to Amano Iwato, it's like if you tell it that it cannot use its effect, it is going to remain on the field actually forever. It's going to be considered as a normal summon and not a normal spirit summon, shall I say. And what I mean by spirit is, of course, that you summoned it, but at the end phase it goes back to the hand. So to make things better, if you want to avoid like such kind of Amano Iwato style, just remove the restriction on the Smile Word.
And then
I didn't know Konami decided that to actually say that you can only use Smile Word. I don't think it makes sense, but I guess it's Konami making that stuff.
So that means you actually don't see any issue like you felt that why would anyone actually want to add a restriction to a simple spell card? I mean, if it's a very OP card, you will understand, but this is just a simple card that actually add a text. So to you, it feels like an overkill on Konami's side, which end up killing themselves because people actually end up abusing. Okay, so it's like a hammer on their own leg, technically. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about another skill that was... Okay, I didn't see this in the tier list at all because it was like a stun kind of thing, but let's say, I'm not sure whether you remember a very, very old skill known as Element Unites, where they actually give you a free Sanga the Thunder, KSG, Suijin, and then with one card Gate Guardian. Apparently because of the introduction of more variety of X6 monsters on the field, most of the players start, from what I saw in some videos, they actually recommend, or you can actually abuse it with the rank 7. Like some examples of rank 7 that was actually used, right, is actually the Eborn Illusion Magicians, where they can actually special summon the spellcaster, and wherever a normal spellcaster monster attack, get to banish a card your opponent control, and it's not in with Dark Magicians, from what I know. So in a sense, what do you think of this mistake that Konami may have potentially made that end up getting abused by the current X6 monster, the rank 7 monsters in the game itself? Like, do you think that it should be nerfed, or it should be just nah, it's not a big deal, just leave it at this. It's nothing big, in a sense. Which one do you think?
So I don't think it's this big of an issue. Like any skill that tells you start the duel with 500 life points and that you can only summon Gate Guardian from your hand, it's a huge restriction. And even if the player is able to go for a very simple Xyz rank 7 on the field, let's say that you want to go for number 7, and for that you would need to use 3 level 7s on the field, and in that case it will be Suijin, Kazejin, and Sanga of the Thunder. But even so, we have so many interrupts that are actually countering such kind of card. You can use Book of Moon, Forbidden Chalice, etc. So there's a lot of things that will already kill the deck. And also knowing the fact that you have Gate Guardian in hand, you're just blocked. On the next turn, you're going to try to draw one card, and let's say your Xyz is gone. You have Gate Guardian in hand and a card that maybe you cannot play. And if that's the case, you just lose the duel because you cannot even play the game. So there's no issue with the skill.
So in a sense, if let's say like what you mentioned, as long as someone is able to stop that first summon, just that first summon, everything will just be thrown out like that. Oh, hi Mizek, thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching the podcast I had with the Disturbia. If you want, please follow his Twitch details. His name can be found on the Twitch hi_m Disturbia. Just click on his Twitch profile and you can actually add him. Alright. Okay. So in terms of this, so this is a very interesting intake in terms of even though some of the skills can actually be abused, but because of a certain restriction against. Yep. Actually, they call you your homie, bro. Disturbia.
Yes. I'm actually messaging him. That's really nice for the people though.
Thanks for dropping by though. Homie. Alright, so okay, this is a very meaningful insight. Okay, let's talk about one more skill that I don't think no one in the world has even touched it yet. Okay, bro, do me a favor, Mini-Me. Just tell me whether do you even know that this skill have you even used this skill before? You gotta tell me on the chat, alright? Okay, so let me present to you the effect Moth to the Flame, used by Weaver Underwood, where it can actually sell. Okay, he said absolutely not. Alright. Alright, so basically this is like a fanciful anime term. Okay, so you watch the show where how slow. Yeah, that exists. Yes, exactly, that exists. Okay, so basically, I'm not sure whether any of y'all watched the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Where our dear Weaver wastes 4 freaking turns or 5 freaking turns to summon a stupid Great Moth. Yeah, so apparently because to account on the slow pace of the game, they actually give this skill to, we shall make the turn twice as fast so that you can evolve your lovely Great Moth out onto the field. Wow, and to be destroyed by something, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the reason on this discussion right here is because this skill itself has a very similar function to another skill that was actually abused because of the free resources from the hand that you can actually drop to use your traps. So let's compare it with a skill known as the Hero Flash. Okay, because the problem is both the skill has a similar concept where they actually add a card from somewhere to the hand, but for some reason Hero Flash was actually used more because they abuse cards like Karma card, they abuse cards like the Ultimate Providence, where they can actually discard the card to actually pay for the cost. So Hero Flash, because of this freaking reason, Hero Flash got nerfed to the point that your deck must have hero monsters before you can actually use the skill. So the problem is the Moth to the Flame skill, they do have these similar functions where another card can be added to the hand. So why wasn't these skills that abused like Hero Flash? Like, is there a reason or is there a rationale behind it? Like, they both
I think
add
what's
cards.
pretty funny is, as you mentioned, there's like a similarity with them because it allows you to get a card from the deck just like that in a free way.
Correct.
If we talk about Moth to the Flame.
Yeah, Moth to the Flame.
I think it's, as mentioned in the skill, if we read this correctly, they say the following. In addition, if you control Petite Moth equipped with Cocoon of Evolution, add one of the following cards to your hand from outside of your deck in the order listed. So the thing is that you will need to control the monster, and if you take Hero Flash, it just doesn't need to control any monster. And not only that, but they do add up to 5 cards from the deck, which is very good for a skill like Hero Flash. And if you check, for example, Moth to the Flame, it's just 3 different cards. So it's more restrictive in that kind of sense. Also, the fact that they are monsters that will be useless compared to Hero Flash cards, which do end up having a use. Because one of them, if I remember correctly, you have Oversoul, which can special summon a normal monster from the graveyard. You also, I think, have Righteous Justice. If I'm correct, it can allow you to destroy a spell trap on the field. And such kinds of cards are way more useful, compared to Moth to the Flames' cards.
I see. So apparently one of your viewers actually commented that having the Moth and Cocoon could be really hard for activation. So, sorry, bro, I have a problem pronouncing it. It's Mini Mize, right? Is that right? If I remember, okay. So
Minimizek, yeah.
I think he actually gave his opinion, like in comparison, yours is saying that Mini. Okay, so Mini actually gave his comment stating that because the Moth, you need to have both the monsters on the field. While yours, you mentioned that the spells can, even without discarding, you can actually use it for a hand, like it's as an ordinary kind of effect instead of for cost. All right. So okay, so let's In that case, do you think Konami should improve this skill? Like they should say, or maybe you start the game with a petite Moth in defense position equipped Coconut Evolution. Do you think they could improve this skill, or do you think by improving this skill it will actually be meta breaking? Like, do you think they should further improve this skill? Because because based on what we can see and based on what Mini has commented, that you have to actually summon the petite Moth, and mind you, in attack position, because you can't summon in defense. This is not anime Yu-Gi-Oh actually equipped, so you'll be bound to attack. You have to find a way to defend it. So do you think like they could upgrade the skill a bit so that maybe the petite Moth will be automatically equipped with a Cocoa Evolution at the start of your turn or something? Do you think they should improve it? Like, in your opinion?
I mean, they could, but if you do that, you also have to bear in mind that you should restrict. For example, if you do special summon the Petit Moth, to only allow bugs to be special summoned, like only insect monsters, because if you don't put restriction for insect monsters only, then any kind of monsters can be used for the decks. And as I mentioned before, we did talk about UA and how it used Cyber Style. So if we had Moth to the Flame that, let's say, tells you that at the beginning of the duel or the start of your turn, you get a free Petit Moth on the field, you can use it for Tribute Summon, play with UA, and you have all the mechanics there. So I do think the restriction, if they ever want to implement that, they have to restrict by only special summoning insect monsters. And I think that will be a way to maybe play this skill. But I don't think that's the intended way as well. So I do think Konami only wanted this skill to be used as an anime kind of skill, where it goes with an evolution and nothing else.
I see. Okay, apparently your one of your friends actually said that it's an anime skill at the moment, but could become powerful with some altering. Yup. Okay, so apparently he actually agrees with what you said. So maybe for this case, perhaps it would be special summoning, petite Moth, equipped with a Coconut Evolution, but you maybe two types, maybe can't special summon monsters other than insect type, or perhaps your deck can only consist of insect monsters, something like that, right?
Yeah, that as well can be possible.
Yeah, that will actually fix the whole. Hopefully Konami actually sees the problem, because I don't think anyone, like, even with this amendment, no one uses this skill. It's like, what the shit? No one uses this. Like, what? It's like they try, because the previous skill is way worse. They just told you the petite Moth, if Cocoa Evolution go twice as fast. There's nothing else. They added this, but it doesn't feel like there's any improvement, because we didn't see anyone using this skill. Like zero. I tried, I even tried looking on the internet on Duel Links meta, Moth to the Flame. You can classify by skills, right? In the Duel Links meta, no one uses it. Like zero, no one. I was like, okay, that's one of the worst skill in the world, man. Oh my god. All right, so okay, so now let's talk about one more interesting thing that I've noticed. Okay, wait, let me just cover this up first. One sec. Okay, there's one more interesting thing that I actually found that I need to actually let you guys know. Okay, I'm not sure whether you know the most recent deck list where there's the, what do you call that deck? The ChemiCritter, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay, because if I remember correctly, the ChemiCritter, there is an event way before. Okay, there's some of the cards that's actually that was actually around, which is the, let me just check it. Yes. Okay, because at the time, Bastion is at level 45. When you actually finish unlocking it to level 45, you can get 2 copies of ChemiCritter Carbo Crab, you can get 2 copies of Hydro Hawk, but only 1 copy of Poly ChemiCritter High Dragon and 1 Polycritter Diox Girl. If I pronounce the name properly. These are the ChemiCritters that came out. And the Oxy-Ox, right, is actually an event based. It's actually during the Attack of Dark Signals, during the Duel Links Chronicle, or during the Inglorious Bastion event. So the issue here is, okay, I'm not sure whether the Konami actually make an error, because when I actually look on the Oxy-Ox, how to obtain, they only say it can be obtainable during the event. That's it. There's no dream ticket. I can't see any dream ticket that unlocks it. The UR ticket can't even unlock it. So the main issue is, do you think that the Konami will actually find a way to enable these cards to be auto-enable. Because mind you, if any new players were to join right here, right now, even if they unlock Bastion at level 45 to the max, they only have one High Dragon, a Dark Ogre, and 2 copies of Carbo Crab and 2 copies of Hydro Hawk. And other dream tickets they only can do on is only a High Dragon. That's it. I already looked through all. So do you think Konami have made a mistake on that one? Did they realize that, oh, ChemiCritters, we screw up. We forgot that Ox is not in the card list because it's an event, and some new players didn't join during that time.
I do think it's not really a mistake. Like, I guess it's also, well, it's hard to answer because it does depend on what kinds of cards they want to release, maybe what kind of decks. Sometimes they just release cards without much interest, unfortunately. That's how it is. And I think for ChemiCritter, they just, they release cards and they let it as it is. And it could be maybe a misplan. It's possible that it is a misplan, that they forgot about some copies of the card. But it could also be intentionally, where maybe, you have people that are fan of the day, but they don't release the cards. And we've seen something very similar with other decks, such as, for example, Volcanics, because some of the cards have been released pretty late. The same can go for Dark World. You can take, for example, Grafra, Lord of the Dark World, which is a card that I still want to understand why it took 3 years to be released by Konami, but unfortunately, I don't know. I don't think I really have a legit answer for that, just to say that we can hope for more copies of the card. Otherwise, I guess we can find them with the SR and your tickets, maybe Dream tickets as well.
Oh, apparently one of your viewers say mistakes are funny. So, do you agree that it's a mistake, bro? Mini? I'm asking because your friend actually said that mistakes are funny, so I need to check whether does he agree that this is a mistake.
Yeah, actually he's right. There are some mistakes that I do think are pretty funny. I think one of my favorite, it's still going to be the KCGT of 2021. I think this is a must talk because it's one of the funniest things that happened that no one expected. And it's incredible that it actually ended up worse than what KCGT 2020 was, because some players had skills attributed. So you had, if I remember correctly, you had, I think, 2 players with the same deck, which is Tech Genius, and they were using Set Delta Axel, which is a skill that you can obtain with Antinomy, which is a character from 5DS. So the point was that it allows you to get 5 more cards in the extra deck. And there was another player that was using Blue Eyes, and he used Ultimate Dragons, and he was the only one with Blue Eyes, and it's another skill that tells you that it adds cards to the extra deck. So what was very funny about that is these players had only 7 cards in the extra deck, so the ones that should be supposed to be added were not added actually during the event. So they did have such issue, which ended up, I'd say, making it as a funny mistake. And you have the meme, for example, of the microwave KCGT as well, which appeared like it was a very, very funny mistake to see, and I'd say an unexpected one to have the skills not working correctly.
But fortunately, technically, I mean, there was a lot of players were screaming like, what the hell just happened? I worked so hard for it, and end up my skill can't trigger, and it cost me my loss. Like, there was a lot of hiccups at the time. Like, did they, because if I remember, they technically tried to solve it, but did it turn out okay, or people are still very upset up to now, in a sense? Like,
I don't remember that they fixed the issue with the skill. Like, I think what they ended up doing is that, most of these players that had been playing Tech Genius and Blue Eyes, you did see them losing at some point. Now, there's one thing for sure I don't think I'll ever understand, and that's because the Blue Eyes player, actually, he was playing, I think it was in the top 25 at that moment. He didn't win all the matches. I think it was either 1-1 or that he lost. For no reason, they actually decided to put him in top 16. So, at that point, the event, I think, was messed up. Like, just with the first round that we had, the event was sadly, completely ruined. But the ending was a bit better, but not much special. Like, so it was what it was.
So hopefully this KC Cup they won't scrub again, or it'll be kind of another joke round again.
We do hope.
We do hope.
We do hope, because it's really a huge surprise. You have to think that they did manage to do the World Championships in 2017, 18, and 19. And due to COVID, they had to do an online event in 2020. That's the thing. Like in 2020, I think this year, like the year was worse in my opinion, and yet they still made an event that had no issue. But 2021 for some reason had an issue. I'm not sure to understand.
Yeah, because
I'm going to lie, I don't
because
understand.
apparently DK was actually bitching about it on the Duel Links meta. It's like, Konami, what are you doing? He was like giving a very exaggerated look because I was watching. Because I mean, you do follow him, right?
Of course.
It's watching. He's like, he was so bitchy about it. It's like, oh my god. I mean, he's right, but he's kind of funny at the same time. Anyway, okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, you know, there is a certain deck that actually, it was claimed. Okay, I quote, it was claimed on Duel Links meta itself, the website, that this deck has the potential to actually reach the meta because of a certain card that got actually introduced into the picture. So it's actually our dear 00hrs. Okay, so apparently because of the new edition of 00hrs and some of the cards from the older set which can be unlockable, like example maybe the like some of the old cards that is used, the Gishki Abyss, Gishki Shadow, Gishki Vision, and some cards from the older set like Salvage, where you can salvage the water monster and everything. Do you foresee because of this edition of 00hrs the chance of Gishki hitting the meta will be quite high, in your opinion? Do you think?
To be honest, most of the decks that allows you to do one specific combo and one same exact mechanic, you would think that they can end up being meta, but they end up not being meta, in my opinion. Like Gishki, the idea is that you just try to spam 00hrs, use the effect. If you get the Gishki, you can, if I remember correctly, you can banish one card from your opponent's field.
Shuffle back to the deck. That's the deadly part. It shuffles. It's best.
Exactly. So it's not a bad effect by itself, but yeah, if you have a way to actually stop all of these effects, then there's no issue with the deck, and it's actually counterable. Plus the fact that it can be bricky. So like, if you want to play right the deck, a lot of people, there's 3 skills that can be debated. There's LP Boost Alpha, just for the LP cost. Some others are using Master of Rights for the consistency, and because we're talking about ritual decks, it is a good skill. It allows you to switch a monster for a spell, vice versa as well. And last but not least, it's going to be Territory of the Shark, which still intrigues me why they use this,
but I saw a few.
Indeed allows them to go for an Xyz.
Okay, so there is some, in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh itself, right, like at the time when Gishki was actually played by the actual player, actually squeezing one unique card into the deck. Let me just bring up to you in the picture. You just tell me what's the chance of them adding this piece of card right into the meta itself, because I got a feeling if they add this, it will be slightly game breaking. I don't know, because this is based, because I actually played the actual game itself. Okay, make a guess. What card do you think that I'm going to put on the picture right now? Make a guess. That is related to 00hrs. Make a guess.
Related to 00hrs.
Yes, it is in terms of, let me give you a hint, in terms of level.
Oof.
Make a guess.
I don't think I have an idea.
Okay, I'm gonna show it to you.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh my god.
Okay, so
okay,
let me.
Okay, we're going really high. I know this card as well. Oh my.
Okay, so let's rephrase a bit. Let's do you think our dear Konami will slap this into Duel Links just because this shit exists? Come, just give me your opinion. I really want to know.
I think eventually, because we have to think as well for the perspective that in Zexal we don't have all the tractors, so some of them will eventually see them. For example, Anna, which is the tractor in the anime that does use this card actually, Gustav Max, because she has a whole archetype with like these big machines and all. I do think eventually it's going to be released. Maybe.
But I think they'll
reduce I do see the card that is going to be released at some point.
But they would reduce the life points damage, right? Because in order to cater to the situation. So instead of 1,000, it will become... What's the origin? I
think the origin is 2,000 if I remember.
Yeah, they'll reduce it to 1,000. So do you think... But you do remember, Lava Golem is from 1,000 to 500. So if let's say they were to introduce from 2,000 to 1,000, do you think it was... I mean, I don't know, maybe Konami will be a bit of a joker and say, oh, no, let's don't put 1,000, let's put 500. What do you think? Do you think Konami will actually, quarter the damage instead of half the damage just on this specific card if they will introduce this to Duel Links? Because 1,000
I think they're still going to go for half damage, I think. Like, because they're still going to follow the fact that if they want to release the burn kind of cards, they'll just reduce half, because if it's like a quarter, it's you make an Xyz rank 10 for nothing much. And I think the purpose of the card is, as you can see, it has 3000 attack. So if you deal 1000 damage, I think it's made for on one turn kill. But it's not even easy to summon a rank 10 Xyz, first of all, and we don't have like many decks that can abuse easily the level 10s on the field. Like, it's not something you see often. So I do think they're not gonna make a lot of reduction. They're just going to cut in half the burn damage and make it 1000.
I see. So it's not that deadly in a sense because of the difficulty to actually call it out. Because at the moment, I don't remember there's a lot of level 10s. I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh, Strategise. Viewers, is there anything else that's level 10 in Duel Links? Because I'm trying to dig my memory, but I kind of forgot. Strategise and Yu-Gi-Oh, these are the only two I remember. Is there anything else? Hello, Saigi boy. Thanks for dropping by. Anything else, do you think?
That's going to be tough, because then we have like a lot of synchros with Cool Think, for example.
But I don't think synchros will be actually be used to, put on this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not
that's the thing. Like, for effect monsters, I don't think I have a lot of like level 10s in mind. Because Tragedy is a good one, definitively. It's a level 10, it's a hand trap that you can actually special summon it in actually an easy way. But I don't think there's like many relevant level 10 cards. And I remember there was like one person that I discussed with him about the level 10s, but there's not like a lot of relevant level 10s. We have more level 8s, maybe 9s, but not 10.
Okay, alright.
So these two cards are the most relevant.
Okay, no problem. Alright, so let's move on to the another part of our discussion. Let me just remove these two from the image first. Alright, okay, so we are actually discussing about what kind of cards can actually be introduced in Duel, in like what I mentioned about Guster Max. So let's say if I give you a list of, I give you, because I need time to actually find a few lists of cards. So I'll give you a few examples. In your experience, you tell me whether do you think that Duel Links should be able to implement them. Alright, the first up we have is actually the number 11 Big Eye. Is a simple 2 level 7 monster. Once per turn, you can detach one material, take control of opponent monster, thereby Big Eye can't attack on that very same turn. And there's a period, because in Duel Links there's a lot of not in Duel Links, as in actual TCG, there's people are splashing Big Eyes everywhere, where Big Eye steal a Big Eye, then Big Eye steal another monster, filling the whole 5 monster slots. So in your opinion, do you think that this card can be introduced in Duel Links in this scenario? Do you think Konami can consider this card to be in Duel Links?
Yeah, I think it can, because we do have quite some Xyz rank 7 so far, but I think the restriction on this card, which tells you that when you use the effect of taking control of another monster, it cannot attack. And I think we refer to Big Eye, if I'm correct.
Yes, correct. Big Eye can't attack when it's the control.
I think it's a good restriction already to actually say that the card could be viable to be released in a future box. So like, I think it must be in Duel Links just because of that.
I see. Alright, so in a sense you felt that it's fine because it can't attack and the less monster slots, I presume, because we only have 3.
Yeah, that as well. There's like less slots, and also the fact that the kind of effect the monster has is actually fair. Like, it's nothing too powerful. You take indeed control of a monster, but it's fair for what the card is.
Okay, so it's fair in what you do. Like, you can't attack, you take control, but because of the limited number of slots you can control, it won't be a sort of a huge threat, like, in a sense. Is that right? Okay, interesting. This is a very interesting intake frame. Okay, next one. This is my classical favorite because it has been abused for quite a long time before it got hit by Errata and been scaled down from the ban list. Next up, we have Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Okay, its effect, it was an Errata effect. The previous effect, it can be abused endlessly. The current effect is you can actually special summon this card from your hand by banish one face-up monster, dragon monster you control. And then special summon, you can only special summon Red Eyes Metal Dragon once this way per turn. And during the main phase, you can actually special summon one dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, except itself, and use this effect once per turn. In your opinion, do you think this should be okay in Duel Links?
I think it can be viable because the condition to special summon the card is, well, it's very simple, and it allows the user to special summon another monster from the hand or graveyard, which is a strong effect to have like more monsters than able to attack or even make Xyz synchro setups.
I see.
But I think like even if you have a card that allows you a lot of combos, it's not like over cheated. It's good indeed for special summon. They make other stuff. So I think first of all, it can be added in Duel Links, like if we talk about the rules. And I think it will be a nice card to add in Duel Links. Now, maybe is it too powerful for now? Maybe they'll add later, or just maybe not. We'll see. That depends on Konami, but I think it still can be added if Konami wants.
I see. So to you, it's a very but of course the original effect, of course it couldn't be allowed, right, technically. But this is an errata effect, and because of the slots of monster zones, it to you it should be fine, right, in a sense, correct?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, there's one more interesting one. That it shaped the meta just a bit, if I remember, because I was playing at a time. Okay, let me to show you one more. Let me just find it for you. Wait. I'm not sure whether you know this card. I think you should know. Let me just check. Do you know this one, Ghost? The Ghost the Emissary of Darkness, where its effect is when you take damage from a card in your opponent's possession, you can special summon this card from your hand. You must control no cards to activate and resolve this effect. If summoned this way, activate the appropriate effect based on the type of damage. If it's battle damage, you special summon Emissary of Darkness token. If it's effect damage, you shoot back the damage to your opponent. I don't think this is in Duel Links yet, right? If I remember. Is it in Duel
I don't
Links?
think it's not.
Let me just check. Because there are some cards I actually never see. Yeah, it's not in Duel Links yet.
Yeah.
Okay, but the condition for you to trigger this effect is you must control no cards at all.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay in a sense? Is it balanced for Duel Links?
We actually have a lot of hand traps which are annoying and being used by multiple decks, which you can take. For example, you have Kytroid, you do have Battling Boxer Veil, which is actually very good in this format. No, I think more hand traps can still be interesting in some kind of sense against the current meta we have. And a lot of them can still be interesting. And this one is interesting because, as you said, I think depending if you take like battle damage from battle or even effect, you can actually special summon the card and then you apply a certain effect. So I think for what it does, I think it's good. It's not good. No, I don't know if the token, for example, summoned makes him have the same stats as the original monster, but I think that will depend on that.
For the battle damage is you special summon this card. Because both is when you take damage you special summon. But if it's battle damage, you summon the token that has the same attack and defense on the battle damage you take. But if it's not battle damage, but it's effect damage, you shoot back the same damage to opponent. Yeah, the battle damage you gives you a token. If it's an effect damage, you shoot back the damage to opponent. As in, you both take the damage. So you still feel it's okay in a sense for this card? Because the token actually, because depending on the number of attack that opponent, let's say your opponent were to shoot maybe 3k, then the token will actually be 3k. Yeah. So to you, Konami, like, do you think Konami can introduce this in a later date, or in the current situation right now is actually okay?
I think they still could release the card someday. I don't know if in the current situation that will be good, because with the kind of meta we do have, I think we're still fine. I don't think the card is like that needed to be added. And I do still think that it will be an abusive card, because it's like you receive damage, you get to special summon the monster, and just from battle, you get another token. So that generally stops a lot of attacks from the opponent. And I'm not sure that we will see the card actually for the moment. But it can't be added in Duel Links, in my opinion.
If the meta stabilizes in a later date where it is comfortable pacing in a sense?
Like for me, some of the cards might be added depending on how heavy the kind of meta is. Like we had some periods where only 2 meta decks are like truly relevant. For example, we had the Desperado.
That one was hell, man. Oh my god.
We also had the Blue Eyes and Dark Lord. So maybe at that point they could have released the card earlier, because it allows then the players to sort of defend themselves more. But
yeah, actually,
I don't know. I don't think there's any rush for this card.
One of your the Sagibo actually commented in Ghost logic is always attack with the weaker monster. So perhaps maybe based on what I said, perhaps the player will have a thinking mindset towards attacking a lower attack monster, so that even if let's say Gauss were to trigger on in Duel Links in a later deck, it actually be more controllable, I guess. Okay, good point on there, Sagi boy. Thanks a lot for the comment. Alright, let's go to spells right now. Okay, I show one of my favorite spell. Mind Control. Okay, Mind Control is very simple, where you just take control of one of one's monster. You can't actually tribute it and it can't declare an attack. But as you know, it can actually be abused for synchros and exceeds, and it was in and out of the actual Yu-Gi-Oh bad list for some time. Do you think the way that Duel Links is currently right now, do you think this card is okay? Or it's too broken?
The card is okay because making exceeds and synchro is always a slow process, and we do have so much interrupts actually nowadays. We do have a lot of interrupts. So as a card, it could be okay to add in the game, to be able to take control of a monster, use it for something else. So also the thing is that having the restriction of making the monster unable to attack and not being tributed, and also give the monster back until the hit phase. So that kind of setup is like you can only use it to make extra deck summons, which is a big restriction for the card. So I think it is viable to be added in the game eventually.
So in weighing between enemy controller and mind control, you think enemy control is still way better than mind control in a sense?
I do think eventually that's actually a hard question. With enemy controller, you get to attack indeed, and you must return the monster back to its owner's field. No, if you do that, you can still, like, in case you have another monster and all, you could do a synchro, you could do an exceeds, which uses the opponent's monster. So that will be, instead of using mind control, that will be another way to be able to go for that. So I'd say still technically the enemy controller is better as well because of its first effect, which is to change the position of a monster, which is a strong effect.
I see. So you're more on the utility side, which enemy control has more utility as compared to. Okay, so Mini actually commented that enemy control is still a more powerful defense card. So am I right to assume that most players prioritize on defense, so they felt that enemy controller is versatile, so you have a defensive option and an offensive option, I guess?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, alright. One more spell, which is a favorite of mine because it's being used. Nordus. Alright, so next one, Pot of Duality. Okay, very simple card. Excavate the top 3. It's a +0 card because you lose a card to get a card, and afterwards, and the top 3, just add one of them to your hand, shuffle the rest back to your deck. You only can activate is once per turn for Pot of Duality, and you can't special summon at all on the turn that you activate this card. Do you think with the pacing of Duel Links, is Pot of Duality an acceptable card in Duel Links itself?
Actually, this is just something I remember, but I'm going to say this later. So for the card, it's actually similar to Into the Void, by the meaning that you get to draw a card. So you activate the card, you get to draw a card. Now this one instead is telling you that you check the first cards from the top of the deck. You choose the one you want, and you shuffle the cards that you checked on the top of the deck, or in the deck, I guess. Yeah, in the deck.
You shuffle back in.
So I think as a card, it is good because it allows you to choose whatever you want. So it's a very good selective kind of card. And no, what I was thinking is about the first turn kills, which I don't think we mentioned yet. There has been multiple first turn kills in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. The worst one and the biggest nightmare, which is still going to be the one with the bamboo swords.
Oh.
Which this one was ridiculous back in 2018.
Yeah, correct. That's why it caused the golden bamboo sword to be limited to 1, right? If I remember. That's the reason.
Yes, the gold one is limited to 1
still.
That's the one I
remember. Yeah. So this.
Yeah, what I was about to say is that I think it's a viable card to add in the game, but I don't think it can be added to the game because of the fact that it could allow first turn kill decks to come back, because it's, another kind of card that allows you to check the top of the deck, so get the other card you want and try to draw to then make the first turn kill setup.
So technically,
I think it's not going to be added because of that.
So based on opinion, even though you can't special summon, but because this card could tutor the combo pieces that you may need, which ended up a normal simple first summon could actually finish your opponent off. That's why you think that this isn't really that
I think there are some with just normal summons that could still work eventually. Definitely.
Oh my god. Okay, and one of your friends that you say, but first turn kill is fun for the player, not fun for anyone else though.
That is very true. It's only fun for the one that is playing the deck, but it's still not really fun. Like I think a lot of people that play the first turn kills, not all of them have fun.
So in your sense, this will
Especially if
actually
it's brave.
benefit those that have an idea that a single normal summon to kill your opponent. So this one could be a key card that may change the top, because the top 3 you get to choose the things you want, and it may actually change the game on that very first turn, right? In a sense, correct?
Yeah.
And because our life points is 4,000, that's why it's easier to achieve, or technically? Because I mean,
Good point. I think it's indeed hard because it tells you that you cannot special summon during the turn you activate this card, and the latest first turn kills we've gotten, I think the most famous one, the latest one we've seen, was the 30 cards Gem Knight combined with Block Dragon. This one was very important because you were abusing the fusion summon of Lapis Lazuli to be making some burn
but
damage.
they can't special summon, right?
And
Because of the
The thing
pod.
is, this is a deck that uses special summon. So if we use Pot of Duality with the restriction, I guess it's hard, but I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's a way around that.
So hopefully, I don't know
Eventually.
whether Konami will gonna put this soon, but based on opinion, there is a slim chance because it can be still abused. All right. Okay, there is two trap cards I need to show you. Number one is Solemn Warning. What do you think? Do you think it can be in Duel Links or it can't be in Duel Links? Because its effect is pretty simple. When a monster would be summoned, or when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated that includes an effect to special summon a monster, you pay 2,000, negate activation, and if you do, destroy it. Do you think this is a viable card in Duel Links? Because they do have Solemn Scolding, right, which has a steeper cost but has a wider range of negates, if I remember. Yeah, so,
Yes, exactly.
so in a sense, do you think this is okay or this is not okay?
So if we take back concerning the Solemn cards, they're mainly counter traps, and all of them do have a life point cost, and they do have like a different kind of text. If we take Solemn Judging, it is a very powerful card, but with actually a bad cost, which is that it can only be activated if it's the only set card on the field, which is, you know, a massive restriction for a counter trap in my opinion. This one is simple to activate. All it needs is that if you have a card that says, I am going to special summon a card, then eventually you can use the counter trap, pay 2,000 life point, and I think that will be an easy way to activate the effect. And the fact that we have a lot of like special summons, I do think eventually it's going to be not a bad card to be activating in the game and will be pretty much game changing in my opinion. So I think it's viable.
It's viable. Okay. Alright, so apparently one of your viewers actually says Solemn Warning with Resonators, right? Is that what it's saying? The Sagi bot? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized because they use Solemn Scolding, but if they will have true. So if let's say they will actually have the Solemn Warning, they will actually slap it. They wouldn't use Solemn Scolding really. Yeah, makes sense, true.
Yeah, I was actually scrolling. I just realized I made a mistake. I said Solemn Judging, but no, I was talking about Solemn Scalding.
Okay, so if anyone
Alright,
of
my
friends
bad.
say any Solemn card gives me flashback to wherever my combos will get destroyed more cast. Oh my god. Alright, okay, so there's one. Hello, yes, you guys still okay, alright. Yugi, okay, I'd like to give you a shout out. Thank you for doing this banner. This banner is amazing. Okay, shout out to him. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Banner was awesome. I mean, thank you for the last minute changes. I really appreciate it. I mean, Disturbia recommend you to me, and I feel like you're right. His recommendation is awesome. You really up there. Then I give you a salute. This is an awesome one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Anyway,
You're
for
the
those
brother of the Duel Links community.
Anyway, for those who want to actually do any form of the overlays and everything, just find Yugi. He's great. He's good. Hey Green Water Lake, thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. We're still in the middle of conversation on the Duel Links meta itself and as well as the concepts of the cards. Alright, so down with Solemn Warning, we have one more on our list. Okay, this one should be quite familiar to most of them. Call of the Haunted. Okay, it's a very simple trap card. Activate by targeting one monster in your graveyard and special summon that target attack position. When this card is destroyed, destroy that monster. When that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. Okay, this is one of the meta cards in the very early Yu-Gi-Oh! 2001, and that's freaking 20 years ago, alright? So it was quite relevant, limited in 2001 in the actual Duel Links, bans on 2000, and it's banned on 2008, and up to only 2012 that it was actually released because due to the speed of special summoning. So in a sense, Call of Haunted, do you think that it can be actually put in Duel Links itself now because of the pace of special summoning? Do you think it is a viable card?
Yeah, definitively viable, and the fact that we have like multiple cards, for example, Pour for a Rebirth, which also allows you to special summon a monster, I think it's definitively going to be added at some point. Because we also have, I think, an alternative right now, which is the Oasis, which is an SR card that has been released pretty recently, and it allows you to pick any monster from the graveyard, you special summon it, and it tells you that it is going to become worm type. So both of the cards, Call of the Haunted and the Oasis, do have a very similar effect, so I do think maybe they can add it as well.
So, but do you think they'll actually put it in a booster, or do you think they'll put it in an EX deck just to tempt people to get
I think it's going to be in a booster, because I don't see such kind of card in a structured deck, unless maybe they released first in a booster, and depending on the structured deck they release, maybe they can add the card, but that's because there was a structured deck, which was, let me remember, the Assault mode for Red Dragon Arcane.
Yeah, correct.
So this one, you had Powerful Rebirth in the structured deck. So maybe it just depends on how the structured deck will look like, but I think this card will definitively be added in the game eventually, because in a booster.
Because the funny thing is, in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh itself, right, they actually put Call of Haunted in every single structure they come. Okay, like Konami thinking, what should I put in the extra missing slot in the deck? I go for let's put Call of Haunted. Literally, you can look in the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki, the score, there's every single structure deck out there. So that's why I actually asked that question.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, you did.
Thanks for the little comment on this one. Okay, so we're going to do a closure for the first segment before we proceed with the second one. Alright, so in this case, after our discussion in regards to the Duel Links and the metagame and the skills and all this, is there anything that you felt that Duel Links should actually improve in general to make a better playing environment for all the players here, in a sense?
So PvP wise, I think we're in a good state. Maybe the only thing to improve, if we talk competitive wise, will be to make an event or like more Yu-Gi-Oh events for the community, because eventually, if you take the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG on most of the countries, they do have like some national tournaments which are also sponsored by Konami, and if you actually get into a high spot, it allows you to go to the World Championship. There's all that thing that happens. And I do not know why in Duel Links we do not have this system, and instead it has to be done with the KC Cup only, which I think is very sad, to be honest. And also the fact that the KC Cup has, a system that doesn't please a lot of people, because you have 3 days, you're trying to do as much duels as possible, as much victories as possible to get points, and that's how you determine your spot, which indeed is not like a good way to say, hey, this player is actually a very strong player. Well, sadly not. PvE wise, yes, it should get improvements. Gem wise, so like free to play players can get the chance for like building more decks, because old players are now having difficulty to gather gems. It's almost impossible if you have like everything masked. Like you get a lot of difficulty unless you decide to save the gems for a certain box. And last but not least, the last era, which I think is the most important one, it's going to be the dual sessions and the reboot issue, which they started to appear for no reason, and I think it's sort of ruined a bit the experience, sadly.
So
these have to be fixed.
Okay, so this is some of the comments that I feel that, I really hope that some of this can actually be improved. But in terms of the recent KC Cup, do you think the second round, should they make it a bit longer? In a sense, because you mentioned 3 days isn't enough to actually show it's good. Because I don't know how many, because I've seen Japanese people, literally Japanese people, spending 18 hours playing the game. Do you think that they should actually give opportunity to increase that 3 day maybe to 4 or 5, so that everyone could have a chance, or for a longer experience, I guess? Do you think Konami should do that, or 3 days is just nice?
That would be worse. If you tell me that you make an event that lasts 5 days without any restriction, and you say it's going to be exactly 3 days, but we just increase it 5 days,
I see.
It's even worse actually, because you will have people that can decide to go the 5 days without sleeping and deciding to play just to qualify for first place. And I'll say it as a speedrunner at this time that some of the games that are speedrun sometimes for just one category, even a simple one, even an 80%, they do take 10 hours without stopping. And I think this is enough difficult for people to like play 10 hours without forcefully eating or like taking a break, going somewhere. It does get hard at some point. So like to me, there should be another restriction. Let's say maybe you let it as 3 days, but people can only do a certain amount of duels, maybe determined by that, or just make a more interesting tournament.
I see.
But I mean, it is what it is. I think the KC Cup is fine as it is. I'm not sure we should change it that much. Just as said in the chat, for example, by Sagi, it's to add these tournaments for, let's say, streamers. So like for some of the content creators, or even just the players in general. Because if TCG does have tournaments for the players, then it should be the same for Duel Links.
I see. Yep. So apparently Sagibot actually kind of agreeing with what you said just now about the number of the duels limited per day. I mean, technically maybe it's to look after the players' health, because some player could really ignore their health just to play the game, and I don't think it's very healthy. I mean, like, how long do you actually take? Like, let's say if you, like, because I see that you actually hit the KC max with the ninjas, right? Is it on your Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes,
That's a
indeed.
really cool deck. Yeah, so how long do you spend how long do you spend just to hit that one? Roughly? Because I said it was on your birthday. Yes, I forget to wish you happy belated birthday. Oh my god.
Yeah, I also hit King of Games with Ninja, which I think is my biggest pride as a player, because this, within Duel Links, I think everyone has like their own objectives. A lot of them, maybe they want to go to Worlds, so they're going to try to be top 1 in KC Cup, and maybe others, just want to play the deck and be King of Games with it, which is my case, for example. I think it really depends on if you have any event that is finished or not. So like most of the events, when it's not finished, I do spend a lot of hours. I don't know, let's say 5-6 hours, because you have to grind the PvP and all that. And otherwise, I think it's like less than 20 minutes or 30 minutes because I don't have that much to do. I mean, all my tractors are maxed, and what can I do?
True.
Nothing much, sadly.
So that means, because we do know there's that 100 wins in the thing itself. So you actually make it a point to complete the 100 wins every month to maximize your, the gems, this thing there. Because I mean, for me, I'm pretty lazy. I only do 50 and that's it.
I don't really count the number of duels I do every month. All I'm like thinking is I want to be King of Games every time, because I have to think that, yes, indeed, I pay sometimes in the game because I want to improve and etc. I mean, I'm also holding a clan, so I'm having players and all, but first thing I'm thinking is I want to be able to catch some of the players. I have to like get the gems, ideally to get some cards and see what deck I want to be building. And also, like, I don't really think much. I just think about gems.
Okay, wait, one of your... Okay, wait, let me just read out what they say. Okay, every streamer staying up for 24 hours, Mood Trapper, it was a fucking POG. The question is, who does not pay in Duel Links?
Oh my god, you guys asking me the question.
You want to answer the question? Go answer.
Yourself. Your fault, Hugo, by the way. You're playing too much Shadowverse.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, Sagi Boy mentioned, because I saw your Twitter, you also have your own clan. So now Sagi Boy is asking, is your clan only for French-speaking players or no?
Yeah, exactly. It's only for French-speaking players, actually. And the reason why, it's because the whole idea of DLF at the first place, that was something I knew back in 2017. It was a clan that existed at that moment, very, very early in the Duel Links community, and not a lot of people do know about that. So eventually, when I heard of that, I was like interested, because there's of course clans and all, but there weren't actually that many clans even in 2017. So I was like, it's interesting to see a French clan, and I do want to join. And there was a fun clan. I do have good memories from it. And back when I got to the game in 2019, I was like back in GLF, and in 2020, after having the experience with Clan Wars, I decided to give birth to the clan again, just because of the experience I had.
I see. And apparently all our friends say, oh, I speak French. No, I speak French too. Alright, so apparently we end up dragging on, going on into the part about the streaming company. Alright, so just let us continue from there. Okay, because I actually, not saying I stalk you, I'm so sorry, okay?
It's so good.
Okay, because I've seen that you do have a fair number of works on your Twitch, okay? Let me just read out what I saw. Okay, basically, you and me are in Team Wars, so That's the first, and you have your own clan. Actually, do clan wars and etc. So in a sense, like when I was looking, let me just check this. Yes, so like you have already told me your casting experience was pretty amazing, and it was kind of cool based on what you said. So I actually saw this. Okay, guys. If you want to find how well someone has done on Twitch, right? There is a certain website called Twitch Tracker. They can actually help you look through. So apparently this is what I dig out. I'm sorry, Disturbia, I'm gonna show it to everyone. Just look. Okay, so apparently, right? Okay, okay, let me just make this bigger a bit. So sorry. Okay, so basically what I have here is actually let me just find out. Yes, this is actually information about him, Disturbia. Okay, currently has 1k2 subscribers, a certain number of views. So from what I see in this information right here, okay, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm a stalker right now. Oh my gosh.
It's fine, my dude, it's fine.
Yeah, because
everyone is digging information at the end of the day, so there's no shame to have. Especially if it's like, to me, if people don't go to private stuff of someone, then there's no issue. Just dig it up and I'm fine.
Yeah, apparently all your friends saying that I'm whipping out the analytics. Okay, because from what I see is that...
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently I see that on the very beginning, just pardon me if I'm wrong. Okay, on the 18th of March 2020, your followers was at 42 and your average views at 5. And that's when you first started streaming a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Then afterwards, in close to October 2020, which is like a mere 7 months, your view count and your viewers actually increased tremendously. So in a sense, do you agree that because of the opportunities given to you by the casting committee, you're actually able to improve as a streamer?
Generally, yes. Like a lot of stuff has affected, I'd say, the view numbers and maybe the followers. And that's like due to, for example, a funny raid I had, for example, from a famous YouTuber, which is called Naxtaku. Back in May 2020, I was actually raided by that YouTuber. And it was a huge surprise for me because I don't think I've ever of course I was new in the streaming, but I never thought that there's going to be someone raiding me and that big of a person. But it was very funny, and I think that was like one of the first exposures I had to the people. And I had like some viewers from that channel that, decided to hop in, and they all just send and spread love, which I think is wholesome and really amazing from them. And I really appreciate that. And also the fact that due to the DLteamwars casting I've been doing and like my own tournaments, I think this helped me with the views, but especially DLteamwars. And at that point, I think it just kept increasing because one thing I told myself is I have fun streaming competitive. I have fun watching leagues and see new clans, new faces. And I think it's something that is exciting that a lot of people don't think, because I see a lot of streamers, let's say, for example, Clan Wars. A lot of streamers do like to, for example, pick the teams that are good enough, that have good reputation. And of course, it's good content because you're sure that the players that are playing in, they're eventually going to be good. So there's no like any bad mistake that we could see in the stream. But I think we're all humans at the end of the day and everyone is learning. So seeing mistakes sometimes, you have to see it. And first thing I told myself is pick any clan. It doesn't matter what you pick. To me, everyone has to be seen exactly the same without any difference. And that's part of the fun. You get to maybe see new clans, new faces, new players, and a lot of them ends up being a big surprise.
True. Anyway, so this is something that I also saw on your the Twitch channel. Okay, there's one that you do. There's also this box to box league. Like, is it still? It's quite active, right? This box to box league that I saw on your Twitch channel.
Yes. A huge surprise, by the way, because back then I was streaming box to box when it was brought. I think that was around August 2020 when the project from Mythyard was launched. And I was like, it's a new league. It does have some unique rulings. And I was like, let's stream it. I think it's fun to have a league with a different kind of rules. And I did like to see a different kind of format. So I said, let's go for that. And after the first season, there weren't any second season. And we had to wait for a year. Know that they decided to make a new season, but the season we have right now is like very similar to Clan Wars, and we have to know that Clan Wars does not have any current season so far, so it's sort of a replacement, and that's why it's actually active, because we do have 24 clans participating in this league.
So
mine
anyone
including,
can join
and
box
that's
league. Is this one? I'm a bit confused. Is it individual or is it like team wars? This box league.
Okay, so it's really exactly the same as Clan Wars, actually. Exactly the same as Clan Wars, where you have teams of 15 players, maximum 15 players, but only 5 can play during a war, and you also have a substitute. So exactly the same as Clan Wars.
Yeah, actually, one of your viewers said Rip Clan Wars. Actually, what happened to Clan Wars? Last season, it was still last season. This season didn't have any or what? Because I remember some of the teams from Team Wars, like what happened to Clan Wars? Actually, is it because they didn't continue? Because I remember like we were chatting on the Discord with some of the Team Wars. They said that Team Wars is actually different from Clan Wars, even though the teams are mixed. So the people managing there got lazy, or they didn't really have the motivation to continue. When I see
So first of all, talking about the leagues, the two leagues are actually different in terms of format. So if you take Team Wars, the idea is simple. I send a player, the other sends a player, but you have to wait for each duel. You just watch one duel. When the duel ends, you watch the next duel, and it goes on. So the stream and the wars are long for everyone. And you take Clan Wars, it's not the case. It's you have 5 players, they have 5 players. Everyone in their table, and they have the duels. And you try to watch the duels and try to, be able to spectate maybe all the tables and stuff like that. So in terms of speed, it's faster. Because you know that everyone's like playing their duels to then get the scores and all of that. The thing about Clan Wars though, and why we don't see any new season, is because of the moderation team that just don't have enough time to manage the league, and it's a lot of work in the end to manage a league, even a tournament, and so many people actually disregard that. So one thing that always have to be told is that it's always hard to do.
If I remember correctly, because I do watch Clan Wars once, so I remember that if there's a few match, there'll be a lot of casters required because each individual match has a certain caster, or because I saw iChanbot actually did quite a number for the Clan Wars, because I still remember they specified, Clan Wars has reserve. They wrote it reserve. Okay.
They
wrote reserve.
There was that system as well before. Yeah.
They say we are reserve her for Clan Wars. Don't touch her yet. Let me see whether we done touching, then we just throw it. It's like it feels like iChanbot was like really exclusive for Clan Wars at the time. Yeah, that was like kind of a crazy kind of thing. Alright, and I also saw other leaks. What about this Warface? Yeah. Warface, what is that? Is it like a
okay? So Warface was a league, by the way, because it's not really existing anymore. It's pretty much dead, but it was a league with the same format as Team Wars. Exact same rules, but it's just held by a different kind of team.
Oh, so same thing, but one person able to persist longer and kick out the competition or something like that. Is it? Or in a sense?
Sort of like that, I guess. Yeah, but I don't think Team Wars is comparable to any other leagues except maybe Latam Wars, which is the only one that I can see that can hold a very, very strong competition, and that's because behind the Latam Wars, you have a whole team that is working on the website that is actually managing all of that. They do have a very big server. They do update the website, and they also have their own league, which I think is very insane. So Latam Wars is like the only potential rival for what Team Wars is.
I see. Wow, there is really have a lot. I see the Liga Friends. Is it Liga or Liga? Liga.
You can actually say Friends League if it's more simple for you. Friends League as well.
It's the same thing like box to box, or?
Yeah, same format actually. So Clan Wars format.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's
so
a lot.
yeah.
I mean, you do have a lot of experience.
What's funny is you have so many leagues, and not all leagues are actually known. But few of these leagues actually use a different format.
I see.
So most of them are unknown to the public.
Alright, and there's one more that is memorable pack openings. Like what Yugi asked whether you could spend any. Is he want to say who does not pay into it? Yes. Are you gonna do any more of this?
Oh my god. If I could do more, you know what? Because Hugo is a great friend of mine. And if I do more of that, I think I can maybe make him salty. If I say, for example, hey, Shadowverse, I'm back in the game, I'm gonna open packs, and if I get some later, for example, I know that he is going to come at me, come to France, and try to kill me. Which I think is always a fun part to see from my friend. But yeah, I think it's once here. I don't know if I'm really going to charge again, because I'm not streaming more for like my own gameplay and all that, but I'll try to consider it eventually. But I think with the kind of projects I have, for example, speedrunning, I think it's not going to be touched in a long time.
Yeah, because when I was getting the cover of the podcast from him, he actually said he can actually come and find you if there's a need to. So I don't know how when would that be a need to, but that'd be one of our options.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Also,
So
should note to Hugo again because he mentions Valdane, and yes, I have your Valdane, Hugo. I do have it.
all right. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. All right. I'm not sure whether. Okay, I'm going to post a link into the chat box so that some of our audience can actually take a look. Let me just add this picture first. 1 minute.
No problem.
Oh yes. Okay. I'm not sure whether you're seen this thing. It's called the Liquipedia. Okay, I'm going to post a link here. Just give me a 1 minute on this.
No problem, no problem.
IQUID EDIA. Okay. Yes. Okay, for those who actually first time seeing, Liquipedia is actually a website that actually gives a list of competitive gamings like from Dota to PUBG to Overwatch and even to Hearthstone. Yes, Hearthstone. So, in a sense, do you think that if, let's say, Konami were to make any extra effort, or let's say if any of the streaming community which like maybe DLteamwars and all this have a strong baseline, would they able to convince Konami or find a way to push into this Wikipedia? Because Wikipedia is a site that promotes the games and they even show which caster, like it is like a, what do you call this again? Resume for potential casters to put their details there if, let's say, they were to do a certain game. Do you think in near future Konami is able to push to that?
I think if they start making tournaments similar to what they do in TCG, I think yes, because having only KC Cup is not good, and they don't even like talk about the community kind of tournaments. They don't even promote it, like not even the Japanese ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's very sad. So the best bet to maybe see Duel Links in such kind of website would be an official tournament from Konami. And I think that will give it some views because you can take Shadowverse, you can take Hearthstone, which are other card games that you have in mobile devices. And they do have their own official tournaments, and they're actually very big ones as well. So I think if you don't have that, I'm not sure Duel Links is going to get a big exposure again.
So it's depending on whether Konami wants to make the effort to. I mean, because I have read what Yugi said, that if Konami actually helped to make the game more free to play, okay, free to play, you'll definitely go esports. So in a sense, because Hearthstone, you do spend money on Hearthstone, like in a sense, I saw some people spend quite a lot. So in a sense, do you actually agree what you go say if, let's say, Konami make the game more free to play, you'll definitely go esports? Or it really depends on the effort by the company and the community itself?
I think for me it's hard to talk about that, especially with the mobile games, because in most mobile games, when you try to get competitive, there's quite a lot of players that do spend money in the end. So most of them are actually going to be the winners and then are the ones that get qualified in the tournament. And Shadowverse, for example, I don't think I've seen anybody, for example, that is free to play that manages to win the official tournaments. I guess maybe the community tournaments they do. Maybe Hugo knows more than me. But I do think eventually, if it's for official tournaments, at the end of the day, if you don't pay well, you're not going to reach. So is making a game more free to play going to change entirely? I'm not sure. And I think for what Duel Links is, there's a lot of things that makes it free to play. The only issue is that there's like a lot of bundles and stuff that makes the game look as a pay to win. Like when you see selection boxes being released, having a card, for example, like Book of Moon, when it was back released, that was game changer. That was a ridiculous card and is still one of the most ridiculous cards being released. So I can understand the point that if you have, for example, the selection boxes where cards are not released yet in boxes, that can be what makes the game pay to win. But I don't see nowadays many factors that makes Duel Links pay to win.
I see. Anyway, so in terms of just now you mentioned about what they only have the KC Cup. So if let's say they were to organize, so in what you have mentioned, I just based on what you said. So if let's say they were to organize more, or if Konami make an effort to organize more tournaments, they may have a chance on this kind of esports.
Yes, indeed.
I see.
I think they're gonna have a chance because we're talking about Konami, which is a big enterprise and it's a known enterprise. Like I think, despite people and all the kind of critiques they can do, there's always one thing to remember is that every enterprise has begun with some stuff, and back in the days, Konami has done some good stuff as well. So I think it definitely has a chance, no matter what.
All right, and just the closure for this streaming portion. Is there anything else that you felt that the casting, not just casting, the streamer community, the casting community of Yu-Gi-Oh, be it from YouTube, Twitch, in this, or even Facebook, because I see people stream Facebook on Duel Links. So in a sense, like, is there any improvement that you felt Konami or each of the individual communities should do? Like in this kind of sense, what other improvements other than the increasing of tournaments or is there anything that you felt you are not happy with, like felt that it is satisfactory but it could be slightly better? I mean, you do mention tournaments, like anything else?
The thing is that the improvement will be on the niche side, in my opinion, and that will be for those that are willing to be casting games, casting wars and all that. I think eventually some of the streamers we have, like, not everyone is like thinking of casting a game to talk about the competitiveness. So sometimes we do have streams of wars and instead they're talking about other stuff. And I think sometimes that can ruin the essence of competitiveness, so maybe that could be improved. But I think with what we have, it's already fine, in my opinion. There's also a lot of big streamers that sometimes they decide to stream Duel Links for fun and just make some gameplay out of it, and I think that's also good for the exposure enough, and especially on Twitch. But I don't know, I think both YouTube and Twitch, they do have like a lot of people that are actually aware of that. I think more on Twitch than YouTube, but I don't know. Both platforms do show a good reach for Duel Links, in my opinion.
All right, and there's one more question that I like to ask before I close this section. Okay, in terms of a caster, okay, we do categorize caster, because as a caster we do categorize a few type of caster. Number one is a play-by-play. A play-by-play caster is a caster that describes each of the play style, and it is usually used in first-player shooters. Like they describe the movement, what weapon they swap. That is known as a play-by-play caster. Second type of caster is known as color casting. Color casting give a more elaborate skill exclamation of skills to talk about why would they do this way, why would they do that way, or why would they choose this certain maybe ammunition or card in a deck. And the last type of caster is analytics. Why did I pronounce it? It's a caster that analyze. I forgot how to pronounce it. It's an analytic. Yeah, analytic. Yeah. Yes, correct. Analytics caster is the one that describes more than a play and than a color caster. He's the expert in the field. He's able to deduce, give recommendation like how should that certain player improve, or he can even predict the next few moves that a player may do during the casting. In a sense, what type of caster are you?
I think nowadays I'm seeing myself as an expert because being involved on playing in leagues, I think that's the main factor that made me change the way of casting, because you, instead of like commenting all the plays being done, you actually go in depth as why this play is done or maybe why this one is bad. And I'm a player, I'm playing Duel Links and my goal is to play the game, but I do like to play the game by being able to play the deck well, and I think that's an interesting part within the game, so I call myself an expert. If people agree with
it's
me.
like analytical caster, the one that
analytical caster,
I see. Alright, so we have come to the end of this streaming session. Let's go to one final session before it closes. Okay, I call this a meme session. Okay, what I have here, okay, which I will post on the chat right here, okay? Okay, let me just...
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm not sure whether you all guys know, because I'm a Singaporean, we have a little game called Shoot, Shack, and Marry. Okay, do you know what these three words means? Okay, I go to modify. Okay, shoot means, okay, it's done during maybe in camps where you'll be in a circle with a bunch of people. They'll ask you, who would you shoot? Means use a gun to shoot. Who would you shack?
So who to kill, basically. Who to kill.
Okay, who would you shack? Shack means doing something naughty on the bed. Okay, example. Then who would you marry? But of course, I won't say that. I actually modify
Yeah, I think I see. I think I've heard of that game as well before.
Okay. I modified the question. Okay, instead of shoot, shack, marry, I call it this instead. I call it cast. Okay, wait, let me just repeat what is it called again. Yes.
Yes.
I call it cast, C-A-S-T, cast. Okay, let me just write down here, it's better. Okay, I called it cast, duel, strategize. Okay, cast means you don't mind casting with that person in a tournament. Okay, duel means you don't mind having practice matches with that person every day. And strategize refers to you don't mind sharing new ideas or broken combos with a new skill or a new booster that comes up that can be potentially abused. So what I have here is actually a list of well-known, to me well-known casters I've seen on YouTube and on Twitch, which I'll actually post here. Okay, let's see whether can it be seen properly. Yes. Okay, first one is iCham bot. I'm sure everyone knows. Okay, she's from Clan Wars and now she's playing League, I think, if I remember. Then second one is Decade. Okay, the one that does the Duel Links meta. Then Playmaker Duel Links with his controversial nonsense of his account getting deleted on YouTube. That it revived back as a phoenix on YouTube. And there is Guns Blazing on Twitch. And there is What 007. Okay, do you know What 007? Have you seen him? Yeah.
I know him. He's for the one a long time. I've actually been knowing this guy. Yeah. A great one.
I watched his video. He's awesome. 7 days ago, where I say which streamer is a worst tier. That was the most. Wait, let me just.
Yes. Biggest fan of the Gemini decks as well. Yeah. That's what series.
Actually, there's some more. There's wait, let me.
Also remember one thing from him, because he's a fan of. What's the girl in 5D is called? Like one of the dark signers, Misty. I think it's Misty. Yes. He's a big fan of Misty. That's what I remember from him.
I see. Wait, let me just check. How come I cannot type in the words? Yeah, 14. There's a few more. Okay, let me just copy all this in here. And I posted all their links here to actually let the viewers actually say if they want to follow. So it's just a shout out to them as well. Okay. So next one is Venus Kaling. Okay, I'm not sure whether you know her. She's a very active Yu-Gi-Oh streamer on Twitch. She always like to cosplay as the Raphael from Rise of the Shield Hero when that year. Okay. She actually do a lot of collab rooms. Yes. Yeah, she did a lot of collab rooms, playing with players, etc. Okay, then next is iGalaxy413 that gives that he talks about leaks and everything on YouTube. Alright?
Yes, I've heard of him.
Okay, and there's one more which is iBrex6D. Okay, he's the one that actually give very nice content on YouTube as well about different deck strategies and etc. But I haven't really watched it a lot. Then the YT Duel Links wasn't really that active. The last I checked, he didn't upload a lot. And Duel Links best deck, I don't know why he calls himself Duel Links best deck, but some of the decks was definitely okay. But as the period goes by, like I don't know whether it's gonna update those decks so that there'll be a best deck again. But interesting content. And there is the Duel Links Entertainment. Okay, the Kamel, he's one of the co-founders of Duel Links. I mean, I did research all this kind of thing, okay? And there's Duel Links memes, where they make memes decks. And then there's the James Warai with the Gengar profile, okay? I don't know whether you know some Gengar profile on the YouTube. Well. Okay, and there's Zark Duel Links C. He's actually partner with another person to do in a team, I think. Yeah. And then there's the YJ Duel Links Ace, Duel Links free to play. Yeah, F2P. Very popular in YouTube, showed the free to play decks, which I think it's definitely free to play in the sense of some of them, because they can actually, most of them are actually from either the gems they save for the boosters, etc. Then there's Verse. Yeah. His YouTube is just a V. I don't know why he did put a logo, but it's just a V. That's so funny. Okay, and then there's
it's a very interesting channel. Yeah. It's I think the most mysterious content creator we have in the Duel Links community, because he doesn't even have 100,000 subscribers, but he still gets close to it by just uploading animations and some fun dialogues. But I think what's very important about him is that he still finds like unique dialogues that not many people find, and I think he's like one of the first to do this, and he still continues with that, which is unique and cool to see.
Okay, and there's Laura Benz, the thing. She's the one that usually like to cosplay as Weevil or cosplay as the
big fan of the Kaiba family as well.
Yes, correct. Very nice streamer. I usually watch her because she's very entertaining. I can enjoy her stream. And then there's Knife Road, Sean Matra, and Steven Freshy. Alright, so what we gonna do here now is the member of the audience, just to check, most of y'all know this streamer, right? Okay, y'all will have a little interesting role. Okay, so anyone, pick pick 3 streamers out of this 24 list and ask our dear Disturbia who they actually duel with that person, cast with that person, or strategize, and force him to say a reason why. And
okay, so they have to pick a combo of like 3 streamers and then I say something. Ooh.
Yes, this kind of fun because we do have people. Okay, how about this? Let me start first. Okay, I'll choose 3
Sounds
very
good.
interesting. Okay, first one will be iChan bot. Second one will be the Venus K-Link. Third one will be What 007. Which one would you cast with? Which one would you duel with? And which one would you strategize with? And explain why. That'd be kind of fun.
Okay, so I know you said iChan, then Venus, and what was the last one?
What 007.
Okay.
Yeah. Because What 007 actually showed a lot of leaks and everything. Yeah, wait. Me first.
Think for cast, I think I will go with. I think I will go with iChan bot eventually. I think.
Okay.
Then for duel, I will go with Venue Kalin and then strategize with What 007.
Okay.
No, this one is tricky because I could also say that I want to cast with What 007 and then say, for example, strategize with iChan bot who's like more familiar with the competitive, but I think the reverse will be more interesting because I know What 007, he likes to create decks for fun, and by the meaning of strategize, I think it's always interesting to be with him. iChan, why casting with her? It's because she already has enough experience with the casting. She's been with a lot of leagues, speaks 4 languages as well. Great friend of mine, by the way, so for sure casting with her. And lastly, streaming, dueling against Venus Kalin, because I do think she does mainly dual room content and
correct.
duel
She do
herself.
a lot.
So.
Okay, so Mini actually say DK, Bradis, and Nifro.
Oh my god, what is this combination? Jesus. Interesting.
You know, there's 24 times, there's so many different combinations. I would really love to see how many of them will actually stop.
Yeah. For sure.
Because DK is one of the best, man.
Yeah.
DK is one of the best. You can't deny anything. He's really good at. That's the problem. So you have,
I mean, he has the huge experience with a lot of stuff, especially competitive-wise with the commentary and holding tournaments. Like, he has a big experience compared to anyone in the community, both on YouTube and Twitch. I think its only rival was Guns Blazing, but no, he has no rival anymore. But I think Guns Blazing is also coming back, which is, a big plus, I think, for the community. So here, I will say I will cast with Nifroth. Okay. I will duel with Bradaz, and I will strategize with Decade.
Okay.
So casting with Nifroth, because similar to iChan, he does have experience with the casting, and that's really his main thing. Duel with Bradaz, because I think between casting and strategize, I'm not sure it's really his thing. He's mainly someone that likes to check on the leagues, and I think he's playing for fun right now, but dueling with him will be fun. And I think Decade has been strategized. I mean, he has a lot of experience within the competitive, and eventually he does get his own strategies, so it could be interesting to do strategies with him.
Technically, most of us calling, like, we not say we idolize him as a god, but he's really like that level, I guess, because like most of his ideas, like, he always credits people when there's any new idea share. Like, he's the type that who always share the glory of any other people when ideas are given, because I just felt like he actually did it for community. I mean, given the fact that he has so many subscribers, this means that the number of people that has faith or believe in his skill is really tremendous. Because, I mean, he has the skills to deliver it. Oh my god, so that one, like, in a sense, we can't actually deny. Alright, anyone else want to add a combination? If not, I think I'll throw one more for my side. Mini, are you gonna throw anything funny? Because if not, I'm gonna throw mine. Mini, anyone? Alright, okay, let me throw my one. Okay, my one will be same thing, but a bit different. Same, I'll choose DK as default because this is something that you have trouble with. Okay, DK. Okay, first up is DK. Playmaker. Alright, and the last one should be Yummy Blood the Pharaoh.
Yummy Blood, okay.
Yeah.
So
DK, Playmaker, and Yummy Blood.
This is funny, but I do have my solution. So DK, this time I will cast with him, although it's not often that you can cast with him. I think there's always a chance that you could do. Depends on how you talk to him, and maybe he wants. You never know. I think everyone has a chance to be casted with, and I think he has a lot of experience with that, so that's the best choice here. Yummy Blood will be for Duel. I don't really know much about Yummy Blood, but I've seen his channel, I've heard of his channel, but I don't know much about him. So I prefer to duel against him and strategize with Playmaker because he does like to create the decks in a lot of ways and funny ways between free to play and not free to play. He's always thinking about how to create the decks. And there's a reason why it's one of the most popular YouTube Duel Links channel as well. So that will be my order.
Yeah, so even if let's say, I mean, it's amazing. Like his channel died once, but it's like everyone, I'll be a phoenix. I will come back and then everyone just move over. All right. So someone choose Laura, Vance, and Camille. So how would you do it? That's tough. That's tough.
Music already picking too difficult stuff. I'm just gonna say that, but. Fortunately, there's one thing I can do for that, a funny one. So, I will actually cast with Laura Benz.
Okay.
And then I will duel against Vase and then strategize with Kamel. So, strategizing with Kamel because since he is a member of Duel Links Entertainment, he is involved with a lot of the competitive side. So, I do think he's still interested to talk about like most of the strategies sometimes. So, for sure, I will strategize with him. Duel against Vase because you know exactly what kind of content he does, so I don't know why you will cast or strategize with him, but dueling with him can be fun because maybe he brings you like the most normal decks or fun decks to bring, and it could be fun to duel against him. And casting with Laura Benz, and actually shoutouts to her because I know she's been following the competitive more than I thought actually, because I know she's been rating me sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm very impressed because I know not all streamers, like even if they know about the competitive, I don't find so many of themselves pushing themselves to watch the league or just for some moment, right? Like, of course, they're going to see the league, so sometimes they send the people to watch that, but of course, it's not made for everyone. But I think that Laura Benz starts to get an interest with this. I think it will be fun to cast with her.
She's a very fun person.
And she's a great person as well.
Because like I actually enjoy talking to her whenever I read her show. Because every time when I finish the casting for the team, was like I'm not sure whether you know this. I always read her channel because her channel is very refreshing. It's like refreshing from the stoic, from the stoic normal kind of thing. Then it suddenly goes to very carefree. Hey, like she'll like, hey, Albert Gilliam, welcome back. How is your stream? I say I can admit this.
Always
yeah,
happy.
she's always
It's such a good ambience to actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
We actually be with her for sure. She has a great vibe.
Alright, Yugi, I got a job to throw to you. Pick 3 for our dear Disturbia to choose. You got a job! Come on, show it to me. Come on, Yugi, choose one. Yugi, choose one. Come on. Your Sony book, I heard it. Can you pick 3?
Alright, okay, I'm gonna actually convince you. If you tell me 3 streamers or YouTubers, I'm actually going to stream Shadowverse again.
Oh shit! Hey,
actually, for real. I'm actually saying it for real because Shadowverse is still one of the games I miss. And I try to play it sometimes, at least PvE wise before PvP, but
okay,
I will
how
try
about this?
to
Let's make it sweeter, okay? If Yugi actually pick 3 and make it so difficult for our Disturbia to choose, right? Okay. Every time when Disturbia actually streams Shadowverse, I'll be watching it, and if can, I'll rate it.
Yeah, actually, Elvergalian, can you send the list of the streamers and YouTubers to Hugo? Because I think he doesn't know that he has to pick between one of these.
Oh, you mean he actually didn't notice? Okay, I just sent to you on.
Yeah, I don't think he noticed it, so maybe put it back and eventually he's gonna know what we talk about.
Yeah, so basically allow me to... Oh my god, I just smacked all the links on his face. I'm sorry, I just smacked
It's so good.
I just smacked all the links on it, and I think the stream froze. Did it froze? I know it didn't froze. Anyway, Yugi, let me just repeat what happened. I don't know whether you heard what happened at the front. Alright, so basically what we are playing now, because we are going to end of the podcast, so I thought maybe doing something pretty fun. So like just now about the concept of who will you... Okay, it's a concept following Shoot, Shack, Marry. I don't know whether heard of it. I think Mini heard of it. Okay, some of you heard of it. So who do you shoot? Who do you shack? Like that. Okay, who do you marry? But in order to be more friendly, I choose who do you cast with, who do you duel with, who do you strategize with. So I pick 24 streamers which I really look up to because their streaming platform is awesome. I feel like I actually learn from them to improve myself as a streamer. And we give Disturbia ultimate option. choose 3. Who do you actually... Come on, Yu-Gi, don't do this, making...
Okay, he didn't understand.
Okay, there is a list I sent you. Choose 3, make it so difficult so that he can't decide who to cast with, who to duel with, and who to strategize with. Get it? Yeah. Anyway, you'll be the final one because, oh my god, it's been 2 hours. Oh, that's a really enriching podcast with 9 people. Really thank you for you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. I mean, I thought it would be 5 to 4, but thanks for... Anyway, Disturbia, thanks for the shout out.
I'm actually going to try to help Hugo so he knows what we're talking about. I'm not sure he understood you because he says he wants to duel and cast with me. I mean, of course, we're going to come back with this someday. Okay. That's going to happen, of course.
Okay, allow me to repeat. Okay, there is 24 casters, 24 list of streamers that I have put in the chat box. Okay, 24 unique streamers with their own unique flair, and all of them I have really great respect for them because they are really one of the people that I can actually learn from. So we are giving a challenge to Disturbia to see who. We'll give him 3 streamers' names, 3 of them, and you'll choose who to cast with, who to duel with, and who to strategize with. Cast refers to casting in a tournament. Duel refers to having a practice matches with that person every day, and strategize refers to sharing ideas of broken combos with a new skill, new booster that comes out that may be potentially abused. That's the catch. Yeah. Is he okay? Is he? I think he's stumped.
Yes, I think he's okay. I'm just actually sharing all the names so he can pick between one of these 3.
Yeah, I just sent him via Discord actually, so he should be.
Oh, that as well.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So how? Oh.
Okay, Mini is again picking nice.
Making nice. Guns blazing. Sean Steven. Oh my god. That's a good one. That's a pretty good one.
Nice. Actually, I do think it's fine. The weapons are back low.
Because Steven, I actually see his. I mean, if I remember, he's the one that he actually slaps the blue screen behind and you can see his face on the gaming platform. I think is that the one, Steven? Because I think that's the one. Like he was like talking a lot about, because I noticed that his Twitch channel actually has more videos than his YouTube, more subscribers, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
really an impressive channel. Like the growth of that channel is also formidable because he has been streaming for a long time in Twitch as well, which explains the amount of followers he has.
Alright, so you answer Mini's one first, then after that you go to Yugi, and if there's nothing else, I think we can actually end this because this is a very fantastic conversation with you. Alright, so Mini actually choose Guns Blazing, Sean, and Steven. So pick your poison.
Alright. And also Yugo did send his, so I'm gonna go first with Minimize X's one. So I will actually cast with Steven. I will duel with Guns Blazing, and I think I will strategize with Shen Matrai. Strategizing with Shen Matrai because if, for example, he wants to talk about Ritual Beast, it will always be fun to talk about Ritual Beast. It's his main deck, so definitively talking about that would be nice. Dueling with Guns Blazing because the man is a legend, he's the myth. Always fun to duel against him. He's bringing memes, he brought memes to the community. A huge legend. Always respecting Guns Blazing on my side. And last but not least, casting with Steven Fresh will be actually great because I do know that he has some knowledge about the game. He does have some good casting, and I think it will be interesting to have him casting. Definitely will be nice for damn sure.
Alright, that's a very interesting outtake because I only see some, because I seen Guns Blazing before. I mean, it was me. Yeah, I think I'll actually pick your choice too because like I haven't really watched all the videos because I've been bouncing around here and there because it's just too many good contents out there.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yes, indeed, it's so much.
Because it's like most of them really constant, especially What 07, all the meme shit everywhere. Then because of, I'm not sure whether you know like What 07's drama, like the duelist nonsense. then Yami responded and Duel Links Entertainment responded. It's like I don't know whether are they throwing around each other, but the content that the What 007 put was classical. Then I put everything F. Then put the video.
Yeah.
Alright, so apparently, thanks for the intake. Okay, so you chose
there's just one more,
Yeah.
which is going to be 1007 and Guns Blazing and Duel Links memes. So, I think this time I will say I will cast with 1007. I think I will duel against Guns Blazing again and then strategize with Duel Links meme. No, Duel Links Meme is a channel that I've known before it get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And it's a channel that got like a big growth. And that was also due to the kind of graphics the man was doing, which were unique and good representations, also showcasing good decks in general. So the channel just got famous because of that. Also because Ryusha, I don't know if he's still doing competitive, but I know he's normally part of SEM, so Supreme European Monarchs, which is a team that we do know that reached top 8 in the recent DLteamwars. So dueling against Guns Blazing again, because I think that's the most obvious choice. No, casting with what 0007 because the man speaks and Duel Links Meme doesn't. And strategizing with Duel Links Meme because he is always creating a lot of decks, and I think strategizing about that always gets up being interesting, especially when it's a YouTube channel that is specialized in creating decks.
Alright, this is some interesting. It's kind of fun though actually when you see some of the content. Like, they're all very unique in their own way. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do like some. Like, especially the Duel Links best deck, you know, where they showcase a certain card. Like, I remember you saw the recent one where they said the
good
Gemini
channel as well, because I think it's a guy that has a Twitch channel, right? If I remember correctly, he does have Twitch as well.
I think so. I just didn't check on that because I look at who, like whether are they more dominant on YouTube or are they more dominant on Twitch. Yeah, it's very rare for them to duo dominant. Like DK is really both are dominant. YouTube is very strong, Twitch is very strong. Like his content is top notch from what I can see because he actually, I mean, he managed the meta community, right? Like he helps to, he's really the. I mean, I don't think if without DK, I don't think our community would be that good. I guess because like there's like because Duel Links meta
I
is
think
one of
it will have happened, but I do think it's more like this was like the first group that was created to define the meta. I do think it differently. Like I think it's the first one that say, hey, we're going to create a group that talks about the meta. So that's a group that just, grew up and got famous the later years. So I think it makes sense that it's the most popular one and the strongest one.
Yeah, I think that without him, I don't think we'll even have the website in the first, because their website is really, one of the most user-friendly ever. Like you can sort by everything. Like whoever made this is a genius, man. I gotta admit this. Like, just no debate. I mean, for the actual Yu-Gi-Oh itself, right? We can't really, we don't even have a proper system to put like from which set. Like I mean, there's Wikipedia, yes, but you have to manually type sort by set. Whereas Duel Links meta just okay. Let's see, we have a special catalog, logistic activator, just everything give to you. It's like just one of the best thing ever. All right, so
for sure.
Yeah, this is one of the best moments. Okay, anyway, it's been 2 hours and 17 minutes. I really appreciate you taking the time. This is some of the best. No
problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Really enjoyed.
If I can do some shoutouts, by the way, if I can.
Go. It's okay. I'm right. Just go ahead. Any shoutouts?
I think very simple thing. First of all, shoutouts to the entire Duel Links community. I think both YouTube and Twitch, without them, I don't think people will have that much fun to watch or even play. And I think it's lovely to have a community that is able to have a lot of fun nowadays. Also, big shoutouts to my good friend Yugi because it's him who pushed me to stream. And eventually, without him, I don't think I will have that high reach. Shoutouts to Ankara as well, who has helped me in the past to go in DLteamwars. And the same for Arix, who's another French streamer. Shoutouts to my entire clan GLF, shoutouts to Minimizek, shoutouts to Mango, etc. The whole community at that point. There's so many names I have in mind, but shoutouts to the entire community again.
Alright, really thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, and really appreciate all y'all guys dropping by. If y'all, my Discord channel is below. If y'all really want to join, have some fun, go ahead, because I do. And if for my case, I actually not just do DLteamwars, I do my own I do some different games like Genshin and all this. We do have Genshin Friday night. If any of y'all play Genshin, always feel free to join because we're always doing stupid stuff. And yeah, you can actually see my channel. Anyway, really thank you so much for taking up the time, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to actually have to talk with you. I mean, it's not I get to actually know you better, even though technically we have been in the same this streaming community for quite a while, and we do talk each other at times, but it's just that we haven't really talked on this now. I feel like I actually personally know you more. So if there's really an opportunity, I would love to actually, yeah, sure. Anyway, because hopefully I'm able to do this podcast once a month, I just need to find more people to actually talk to. If not, this will be the once in a while thing. I guess when I find some interesting people to talk with, like maybe you give me a suggestion. Who do you think I should actually talk with next based on this Duel Links topic? I mean, provided that person who agree, then I will actually like give that person a shout out, and then maybe I'll see whether.
I'd say Minimizic and Mango. I think these are the two names I have in mind, and last one will be Frog as well. I think they're like the three streamers that I do think are nice to talk with for sure, and they also enjoy streaming the competitive Duel Links, and you can feel it by watching their stream. So one of these three for sure: X, Mango, Minimizic, and Frog.
Sorry, the Frog is which one? FROG or?
I don't think you know about Frog, but I'm gonna write in the chat. I think you may never heard of it, but he was streaming Clan Wars. He's also currently streaming Box to Box as well. And yeah.
Okay, let me just note down. So Minimize, Frog, and who's the last one?
AX Mango.
AX Mango, Alright. Okay, hopefully I'm able to actually further this podcast. I find this a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of Mango as well, because he's also part of the Duel Links Entertainment casters in general, so I'm sure you've seen him once.
Yeah, I've seen once. I think he was casting for some of the, in Duel Links Entertainment, they're showing the cast, I see like caster is who by that person. So, and then I think I follow him on Twitch too. Yeah. Alright. Really appreciate it, and oh my god, thank you so much you guys for coming. I mean, even though the viewership is not optimal, but I'm really glad that even people come to watch just to support Disturbia. I really thank you so much for coming down and really appreciate it. Alright, so thank you very much, and it's already 11:30 for me. What time is it for you, bro?
Yeah.
What time is it for you, bro?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay. It's actually 16:22 on my side.
Alright, good.
So it's not that late.
It's not. Alright, okay. Really appreciate it. Thank you everyone, and thanks for the stream, and I wish you a lovely day, and I see you if there's a next possible podcast. Have a good day, and this is Alvin Julian signing out. Good day and good night. Thank you.